Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is Life's Podcast with Sujata and Coach Les. And we have a visitor up on stage already, and that is Jeanette Angel. Woohoo! Thank you all for being here tonight. It is so great to be with you. Squirrel is in the house, and Byron, I'm going to send you guys an invite and get you guys up here as well. Please don't invite anybody else up. Sorry. We are just going to get ourselves started here tonight. And welcome, Sujata. How are you today?
How do you think I look?
I'm not. It's not for me to judge. I ask a question. That's all I ask, right, Jeanette?
That's right.
Well, if somebody looks at me, they would say that I am looking well. That maybe not so well, but I'm looking forward to my flight in the night.
There we go. She's flying back from India back to Singapore. Woohoo! There you go. Well, I wanted to just do a quick shout out as we're here right now. I have, just because I get to say it first on stage, I got 5 winks sitting in front of me, Jeanette.
You have 5 what?
Winks.
5 winks? Oh my goodness. Are you giving some winks away?
Yes, I am going to be giving winks away. So for those of you that don't know, and Jeanette, I'm going to leave it up to you if you can find the link to post the book up on Clubhouse. But Sujata wrote another book. It's a mystery, and it is called Wink. And so a mysterious sage and a killer who will stop at nothing to prevent his cover from being blown. A mysterious sage and a killer who'll stop at nothing to prevent his cover from being blown. But this time it was different. It felt more brazen, rendering an uncomfortable uncertainty that made the prognostication certainly uncertain. Sujata has written an autobiography about her life's journey against all odds, a legal life manual that deals with events one is never trained for. And this is her second book that she has just produced. And it just came out, a week ago?
Yeah.
A week ago. Woohoo! Want to tell us about it, Sujata? Or you just...
And Janet also has the wink.
Yes, I heard that you were very excited to share that with Coach Les.
To brag it with me, yes. I don't know about sharing, but yes.
Well, Coach Les, you
I
always
shared it with you, Janet, also,
positively.
and you got the book first, I think.
Jeanette was the first, yes.
Yes.
I am honored.
It's my honor when you all purchase the book.
I think it's awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen in the room, if you get a chance, that would be awesome. And there it is, Wink. It's up there. Take a look at it. It's kind of a cool book. And it's as affordable as a comic book. I couldn't believe it.
Yes, and it's a pocket book, which is slightly different. And because of the size of the book, it's only on Amazon because it prohibits us from, or Amazon doesn't want to put it on to other resellers. So you'll only find it on Amazon.
It's pretty cool. So, Sujata, what are we talking about tonight? What are we going to take on and and get people all excited and up in arms about tonight?
I leave it to you.
No, you mentioned something the other night. Don't
What
leave
did I?
me hanging. I didn't write it down.
Oh my God.
I was walking.
When you're walking, then most likely I'm either walking with you or I've forgotten too. When I'm in India, my brain doesn't work and on optimal levels. It's on survival mode.
I think we should talk about that. That would be hilarious.
Oh, that I can talk, then I can go on and on. How you can't even get a printer which is uh, compatible with a MacBook.
Why not?
That's how it is in India. Everything is a challenge, as I have been saying.
Well, all right. Well, I'm going to do something daring then. Jeanette, what life topic should we take on tonight? Hopefully she'll rescue us, Sujata.
Yeah.
You know, there are always great topics out in the world, but the world just seems to be so divisive right now. I'd be afraid to bring anything up. I will tell you that I think it was a really exciting day. I say exciting to be cynical. Nothing went well today. Nothing went well. Everything was broken. It was just broken. I worked late. So let's see if I can come up with a topic. Well, first of all, Sujata, congratulations on your second book. Yes, I have both. I wanted to make sure that when you got the picture, it showed both books in it. So maybe that's a good topic to talk about what inspired you to write this book. You know,
So
how did you get to writing this book?
this book, so Janet, we have talked often as to how people are put into boxes, right? So even as an author, you are put into a box that this is the genre of books that you write, whether it's self-help, whether it's fiction or anything else, right? People just write on the same topic or on the expertise. I didn't want that. I wanted uh, to put myself out there as somebody who can't be defined and put into a box. So this is so different from my autobiography, right? And that's why I did this, including looking at the size and uh, looking at the format of the book. So that's how I wrote it, and said, let me try my hand at crime fiction. That, of course, resonates with me. So
So there's your topic, Coach. Do you let people put you in a box, or are you a true, authentic free thinker and always looking for ways to stay outside the box?
wonderful.
Well, so I'm gonna do something fun here, and I'm gonna go to the stage because I know I have two people that currently I know think extremely out of the box that are on stage, and I'd love to hear from them. Are you an outside the box thinker? And if so, give us a couple examples of why you think that. And I'm going to just do it in PTR order. And I'm going to jump to Squirrel. Mark, how are you tonight?
Well, caught by surprise. I'm scared.
I was laughing before he even said anything.
Mark is going to get even with me somehow. I'm not sure yet how, but
it's I'm I know I'm an out of the box thinker. I'm always thinking outside the box, but I also know when I need to go inside the box to get something and close it and or put it away, or get rid of something. I've been wanting to share something with you guys for a while. There is a sermon that I saw by Pastor Mike McClure. It's called "Keep Your Box," and that changed a lot of ways on how I felt inside, where I was holding on to things. It really helped me to look outside even more than I was just being on the inside. I mean, paying attention to what's going on the outside is imperative. Understand your surroundings, and it's just the awareness of understanding what's going on within a situation and breaking it down. But the couple of instances, Coach, I'm rambling here, so can you give me a minute?
Oh, of course. We'll come back. I actually was I was kind of half expecting both you and Byron to come back with an answer that would put it firmly back in my lap, which is fine. But so I will pop over to Byron and see. How you doing tonight, Byron?
I'm hanging in there, Coach. Thanks for inviting me up to the fun.
Did I give you enough time to take a stab in the dark?
Yeah, no, I you know me, I can talk on anything. It is not something that I know how to shut up on typically about the box. So the easiest thing I can say really is that I'm always too much for people, and everything that I see in people's nonverbal communication expresses the moment of aha. They go, whoa, every time I speak on things that they speak on, or put myself in their shoes and then express my, authentic opinion or viewpoints. So that's just really how I know. But I think the box overall really is the box that you keep company with, and how you can influence other people, or be influenced by them, and being aware of that. So that to me is just being with my understanding of what a box is. It's an ever-growing, evolving situation that really can encompass many different things if you choose. But really, it's really about the environment that you sit within, with the people that you accompany. So, and the one good great example for me, as a young boy, not being able to really understand why I wasn't built for structured learning, and how all those structured, educators really put me aside, or flagged me as something that was an issue. And then later come find, as I, mature and have people in my life really point that, my ability to kind of see things that most people don't see and be able to communicate it was the virtue of that, was just someone that was not conformed to traditional things. So that's about it.
That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. And welcome, Nate. And welcome, Ruchi. Welcome to the room. And, for me, Byron, I know, after having spent several hours with you over last weekend, I definitely believe you and see the same thread of excitement of thinking outside the box. And, for me, I love upsetting people's rationale when people think that they know where you're going to be and where you're thinking, and, demonstrating first off that they are most likely not understanding where you think and what you're thinking about, or they have a preconceived view because you come in one way and you meet them one way. And namely with me, I have a lot of people that, because I'm so high energy, most of the time they meet me in this high energy place. And then when I'm in this thoughtful, like centered, heart-centered, soul-centered Making a Difference coaching mode, people are like, who are you? What did you do with Coach Les, the wild guy? And I look at that and I say, well, first of all, for me, you created a box for me that you think I belong in. And secondly, I'm going to use the entire spectrum of human emotion to live my life. And there is no box in my world. The only box is one that things like a phone come in and I take it out of the box. Well, my box was thrown away as soon as I was created. And then I was born and I came out of, my mom, and, the world was my oyster. And I continue to play that way. And every time, working in the corporate world, it's not my cup of tea. Going into the military, I enjoyed it, did my 5 years and said, nah, it's too much of a box for me. And after having 2 jobs for the majority of my life, I now stand with one job that allows me to play in all of the fields of all jobs. And so that's my little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And, I enjoy the more outside the box I can think, the happier I am and the more fun I have. So what do you think to that, Sujata?
I would like to just continue the sentence and say that the more you think and the more you grow out of the box, you actually grow. It's a constant process of growth and evolution. So if you're not confined in a box and you keep discovering things and learning things and thinking, then you're going to keep growing, right? You're going to add more dimensions to yourself. Unless you do that, you don't really grow. You can be in the box forever.
Amen. Jeanette, what say you?
But I'm kind of like, I'm not much different than you, Coach. Anytime anyone wants me to conform in some way, it's difficult for me because I'm very creative, but I'm also analytical. And when and people are predictable. When people try to put you in a box, they're predictable. And if you're like, I remember how you described yourself as Dennis the Menace. And when you see somebody that's predictable, you want to stir the pot, to say, right? And so that's how I was always like that. And I never fit into any clique, but I was very popular and very social. So I always made it a point to know who everybody was. And I always brought people together because I was really good at doing that. Oh, you need to get to know this person. But I never allowed myself to be placed in a box. And that always helped me to excel. And my mom always noticed that. And she said every time somebody tried to pull me down, that I would just bust out and she just said, do it my way. She goes, you just do it your way. And they always try to bring you back, and you come out doing it not only your way, but better. And my mom always encouraged me that way, and in the best way that she knew how. And so that always resonates with me in everything that I do. Whenever I can't do it, you can't do that. Okay, I'll show you. And then my mom would say, and then you do it, and you do it better than they could ever think. So I've always appreciate that about my mom, in that she did encourage me in that way. What I see in others, and you teach this, Coach, you teach this, that if you're working with anybody, or you're in a position where you lead, that if you are teaching them to lead like you or be even better than you, you're doing what you're supposed to do. And you can't do that if you're in a box. You have to think outside the box. You have to see the word you use, Coach Les, is possibility. You have to see the possibilities. And so that's where, if you focus on that, see all the possibilities, don't look at it as something that's not attainable. Just go for it. Think outside the box. Don't let the people around you, and that happens a lot too. If you're around a lot of people, you become comfortable, but what that does is that put you in a rut. And if you're the type of person that loves to grow and be creative and expand, when you become in that little rut that the people around you have placed you in, you become unhappy. So find that creativity, go outside the box. Yes, those people will resent you. That just tells you that you need to level up. You need to go after those people that inspire you. That's my take on it. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jeanette. And here's the thing for me, when it comes to being in a mold, being the people that follow the sheep, if you follow the sheep, you get what the sheep get. And that's the average. And I don't know about anybody. Well, I know everybody up here on stage, and I know, Todd Rooker is listening in on LinkedIn. So quick shout out to him. If anybody ever wants to listen to one of the greatest minds talk about financial prowess, you want to go and to podcast and look up Todd Rooker. And Todd, if you would put your link into the message up on LinkedIn and send us the message with your link, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I will find it here in a minute. The thing is, when you meet people that always blow away all the norms, you've got, right now we have a friend in the hospital, Coach Jay, who is continuing to heal outside of what the doctors think. Todd Rooker's another one. The guy goes in ends up in critical intensive care, and they say it looks, they pull his wife aside and they say it looks like, your husband's going to be going out of here in a wheelchair and it could be a long road. And he's like, baloney, who said that? Some doctor that doesn't know who I am, right? That has put me into the average of all of the human beings that some book says, based on this is how he's going to look. And what does he do? Walk out of the hospital. Right. And I say that not to, brag about Todd. I say it to brag about humanity. When you stop thinking there's a box there. One of the greatest motivational people out there is Tony Robbins, and he does fire walks at his first 3-day weekend seminar. And then, and it's 12 feet long. It's white hot coals. You could throw a piece of meat on it and watch it sizzle and cook. And he has you walk across it. And not only that, but I'm the sneaky little Dennis the Menace that went and got back in the line and did it a second time because I couldn't believe it the first time. And, and then I go through the second time and he looks at me and he goes, and he knew that it was my second time. And he goes, all right, let's go for it. And he sent me across the second time. And the next day he pulled me up on stage to use me as an example and use me in his next example that he needed up on stage. And one of the things that he does those fire walks for on Friday night is to have people get out of their mindset and do what he calls a paradigm shift. And, one of the things that when he was demonstrating it, and I said, yep, you've got permission to, you can touch me. That's fine. He says, great. I'm going to show you so that you can demonstrate. And literally what he does is he takes, and his hands are huge, by the way, and he just hits me, and I knew it was coming, and I jump, end up going backwards. And he says, my intention with all of this is to hit you mentally and psychically, to have you get out of the box that is you, that you've been trained in for the last however many years old you are. Since the moment you came out of the womb, the world has said, oh, we're going to put this person into this box. And you suddenly get put into a box. And that box could be associated with your name. It could be associated with your gender. It can be associated with your social status, where you're born, color of your eyes, color of your hair, color of your skin, all of this. And the question then becomes, how do you get out of it? What is it that you have to do when you're John Q. Public to get out of that box? Or Jane T. Public? Is you have to literally go, all right, this is what everybody else is doing, and I'm not going to do that, because that doesn't produce the result that I want. I mean, if you get a chance to read Sujata's book, Against All Odds, No Retakes, No Manuals, Real Life Lessons, Sujata does things in there that are outside the box. She goes into the police station and sits there until the person she wants to talk to walks by her. Now, some people would say, well, that's obnoxious. She's going to get thrown out. Well, no, she doesn't go in there and be obnoxious. She goes in there with a purpose of a sane individual with a commitment to bust through the box and cut through the red tape and cut through what I call the poop of life. And it's so great. I mean, there are just no accidents when God is involved with bringing us here into this room and here for this podcast and video cast. Who pops in is Todd Rooker, and he says, way to go, Les. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what we're going to talk about. We're talking about the box. Here's a guy that doesn't have a box, Todd Rooker, and neither do I. And when I invited one of my clients to go and visit Todd, he said, well, come on along, coach. You can sit in the back. You can provide great value. If you see your clients clamming up, give them a poke. And so that's exactly what I did. And for 10 weeks, I showed up at every single meeting with my clients and went through the meeting. And the meetings, he literally does a forensic analysis of you and your finances and learns the psyche of how you operate with money. And he pulls it apart and he demonstrates where it doesn't work. And then he shares his view outside the box and says, this is where I'm going to coach you to go. And then looks up to see, can you handle it? Because there are some people that can't. And it's not a walk in the park. And when, after 10 weeks of watching and seeing and learning, I realize that he's a just like I am a laser surgeon, I believe, with communication and integrity and finding the heart and soul of each person's breakdown, he has laser surgical prowess in financial matters and where people are in financial matters. And the reason that, and this is me making it up, the reason that he's that way is because, once again, he has thrown the box away. And he's not interested in this. By the way, here comes one of those nuggets to walk away from. He is not interested in his clients being comfortable. He's not doing therapy or psychology or psychiatry and saying, here's a comfortable couch. Would you like a blanket? He's going in to do surgery. Why? Because he knows that will provide the most amount of transformation and have people be successful, that he can then say, I did my job. And y'all did yours because you took the coaching and you stepped outside the box. You restored integrity to your finances, and bang, a new world is possible. Now, I do the same thing with human nature, human being. Can I be as accurate as Todd is about looking at the numbers and proving it by looking at numbers and using numbers to demonstrate that, right, Jeanette? No, I'm not. I do it by the fact that I've coached, close to 5,000 people. I think I'm a little over that now. And it's by trial and error over time and seeing, and then literally by God's gift inside me. And I know that. And I push people. I just walk them right up to the cliff and throw them over the cliff. And then I'm down at the bottom, making sure they land on their feet. And I think that's what getting outside the box thinking can do for you. Sujata, would you like to jump in?
Well said. And, you just have to be yourself and believe in yourself that you can do it. Nobody can stop you. Only your limiting beliefs or thoughts can stop you. If you tell yourself, I can't do it, then you can't do it. It doesn't matter who tells you what. And that's what I have done as a part of my life. Just to share one incident of my perseverance, when I was during this trip, there is a high profile person who made a huge difference in my life, and who's currently a victim of politics and is under weather. And he just sort of went into a quiet zone and was not communicating at all. And I decided that I am going to meet him no matter what. And so I landed up unannounced at his office, and I faced people who said, who are you? What are you? I just said that I am Sujata from Singapore. Just tell him. I won't take much time. He was kind enough to see me, and I told him that if you had not seen me, I was going to park myself outside your office for 24 hours if it took, because I knew there's only one entrance to go in and one entrance to come out. So you would come out at some time, and then I would have my 2 minutes with you. And if that didn't work, I would land up at his house address and park myself outside the door till I met him. So most people who know me know that if I set my mind to it, I will meet or do things which normally people would say, you can't do it. And that's what I've done all the time. Nobody can actually stop you except yourself.
Jeanette.
Yes, Coach.
I just I just popped the AM1500 ESPN.com to you and your text messages for Cover Your Assets. That's Todd's show here in Minnesota.
Got it.
I'm not able to pick it up right now and do anything with it. I can't. My phone is tied up.
Of course it is. I will link it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Wait, first I have to read your mind in order to do that. I will pin it at the top. Absolutely. How's that?
Awesome.
Here we go. Yes. And there you go. Did it go? Nope.
All right. Well, let's oh, Byron took off. Squirrel, go ahead.
So, Coach, I kept my box. I kept it. It was made for me. That box was made for me. I was given the choice where I can put things wherever I want. If I want to keep them in there and not deal with them, I have that choice. If I want to let them free, I have that choice too. Learning what and how it benefits you by the way that you do it determines your growth through life. So I always put my feelings always went in the box. And I did that to be stronger, to be above that of which was against me at that time. I put anger, I put resentment, I put hate, I put frustration. I put that in the box. I locked that away. And later on, at one point in life, I had to let it out. It had to go. I didn't want to feel or have any of those feelings. This isn't the person that I am. This isn't the person who I was made to be. But I am still a human, so I had to open my box. And I let it go. And I freed myself of all of that, understanding that I purposely put myself in that box. But that box was so beautifully crafted just for me that I see it as a blessing. It's a blessing for me to have something that was so beautifully crafted, made, that I let something that was in that box go. Now I have nothing but the most beautiful piece that I can look at and reflect on every day, of how just by opening that little box, it freed my mind, my body, my soul, and my spirit. And thank you. I'm done speaking.
Awesome, Squirrel. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Ruchi, did you want to chime in?
Hi, very good morning, good evening, Coach Les. Hi, Sujata, Janet, Squirrel, Byron. I don't have much to add right now, so I'm just listening in, and it's nice being here. There's a lot to learn, and thank you for having me here. For now, that's all. I just want to listen in and warm myself up. Maybe later, if I have something, I'll share.
Awesome. Well, I will just to know this, Ruchi, I don't want to pester you. I will check in with you though, but prior to us closing the room, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Byron, anything else for you right now? Uh-oh. Byron, did we lose you? I know he went in and out. Oh, got it. His internet box. His internet box is being flaky. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was perfectly timed. Well, I'd like to say this. I think, Sujata, did you want to chime in at all?
I want to hear what you were going to say.
Well, one, just give me a second. I am making sure that we are all primed up and ready for next week. There we go. Oh, next week is April Fool's Day. How cool is that? There's no parody in that. Right, Jeanette?
That's right, Coach.
So one of the things that I know in my life, whenever I follow the path of everybody else, or I follow that path where I'm supposed to follow how would I say it? What the box is telling me to do. I can tell you this. It is when I am the least satisfied. It's when I'm the least happy. And I would probably say the most frustrated with how I'm performing in life. It's literally like the best analogy I can use is that I'm literally stepping into the river and quote unquote, and I say this specifically, trying to walk up river to get across the river because I'm trying to be a smart guy and do it diagonally by walking up river as opposed to doing it, quote unquote, the right way by just swimming straight across, and you'll diagonally make it across. And when I'm in the flow, I'm using the river to help get me across. At the same time, much like the wind in a sail moves a sailboat, the same thing, swimming across a river, having the current use my body to get across. And when you're in the flow, it occurs almost as if it's effortless. And when you're resisting, trying to get somewhere, trying to fix it, do it right, you bump up against these hidden walls, which literally make life miserable and stick you in the box. And in fact, do so much so they stick you in the corner of the box. So it is really my wish and my blessing to each of you to figure out how to get out and how to stay out of the box. And I would say that is my mission here on Clubhouse, is to break the box and have some fun with it. To you, Sujata.
I'd add to that by saying there are always different routes, different roads, and different approaches in life. You need to explore sometimes uncharted territory and discover yourself or what works best. So long as you define your boundaries, you define the path that you choose to go, that's a matter of choice which we always have, and nobody should take it away from us.
Amen. 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 And I invited somebody to come and join us tonight. And I'm trusting that she'll accept the invite to come up on stage, because this lady, Sujata and Jeanette, is an outside the box thinker. In fact, I think even the universe is not a box that she considers. She is this amazing Southern belle who owns a waste management company down in the southern part of the United States. And she is a Christian mom, was an exceptional wife, has the will and character of probably 10 famous women packed into one, carries the weight of the world on her shoulders, and has been one of people that has been near and dear to me since I went to Zig Ziglar in 2016, because she is also a Zig Ziglar trained coach and loves to train and level herself up to get more out of the box. And with that, I welcome Rhonda McMichael to the stage. Hi, Rhonda.
Hey, Les. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
And tonight we're discussing a very interesting topic, and that is getting outside the box and what that looks like. And I started by a gentleman that popped into from LinkedIn and saw me and jumped on and said, "Way to go, Les." And he suddenly reminded me of a way that we could take this tonight's show and really have fun in Life's podcast and jump and share what it is to think and move outside the box and to live outside the box and the benefits that gives in life. And not that it gives anything that is by any means simple or easy street. And yet the rewards and where it leaves you in the eyes of the what I call the couch potatoes of life, they think that's easy for you. And I wouldn't say anything's easy. I don't think, to me, sitting on a couch, being a couch potato, eating bonbons would definitely not be easy. Oh my gosh. I think you'd have to put me into a loony bin after one night. And, so everything comes with its journey. And as you listen in here, Rhonda, I would love for you to be thinking about what caused you to start being one of these people that thinks outside the box, that, as you heard me say, threw away the box and said, I'm not going to be closed in by a box. And in the meantime, we'll kind of jump around and get some more opinions of other people up on stage here. Dawn, come on up on stage. Come and join the party. I know you have lots to share. All right. So with that, Sujata, what causes you to think outside the box?
It's been my way of thinking in life right from childhood, because I guess the foundation was laid by my mother and to some extent my father in his limited time with us. that we don't conform to rules, we learn to think for ourselves. And they can only give us a framework of, uh, what is ethics, what is right and wrong. Yet let us figure it out, what is right and wrong, because it may be subjective and different for people. So you figure it out and you learn to think. You don't learn to be dictated by what society tells you at every level, right from childhood. School, college, religion, none of these should tell you or define you. I always say this. When people are nasty to me, I always say that they define themselves, their actions define themselves and not me. So you can try putting me down, but you can't really put me down. I will only have a smile in my head and say, okay, you're probably jealous or you're nasty for a reason, which means probably that I'm doing the right thing and going the right way. Because obstacles come when you try to achieve something. Obstacles will always come. You may turn it into opportunities, or you may turn it into learning lessons. That's what I'd say.
Thank you, Sujata. All right, I'm just going to go down the list here. And Sister Jeanette, do you want to chime in?
Okay, refresh me on the question.
What is it that has you think outside the box, and what are the benefits to it for you?
I never think inside the box. And the benefits of that is that I'm continually learning and continue to grow. I just happen to be working in a profession where you have to adapt and be flexible really fast. And in order to do that, you have to be able to be outside the box all the time. You have to be creative. You have to be constructive, and where there's lots of problems, you have to find remedies. And you can't do that if you're in the box. There are many professions that put you in a box. You have to follow step by step what you have to do. And you see a lot of businesses like that. You especially see them in franchises. And what about those that want to own a franchise? What if you're thinking, you can't be entrepreneurial if you're not thinking outside the box. I was working with someone earlier where her daughter was just a teenager in technology, and I said, well, why did your daughter do something in technology that is in demand right now, and she can make money and be an entrepreneur? And her daughter didn't hesitate. Instantly, her daughter was there looking at ways to do it, and she actually started doing it. And I said, that's thinking outside the box. That's looking at something that you like to do and that you just delve into it and you see a possibility and you do it. Otherwise, you're just waiting for things to happen. One of my mentors, he was best friends with Zig Ziglar. They were connected at the hip. And so he always penned this. Some people make things happen. Some people watch things happen. And some people wonder, what happened? Where are you? If you want to make things happen, you're going to be outside the box. If you're going to watch things happen, you're going to be inside the box. Maybe you'll be on the outside or getting ready. But if you're always in there, you'll just be, wow, what happened? That just came and went really fast. And right now, you see it right now as a great opportunity for a lot. The pandemic just forced innovation to move a lot quicker. There's a lot of people that came out being creative and inventive because they thought outside the box. I just happen to benefit from that because of an industry that I love and want to go into, and to be able to teach people. That's something that I love to do. So I happen to get into that industry that I love. But I'm always looking forward and how to get in there. And if I'm waiting, it's never going to happen. It's kind of like with you, Coach, when you're looking at and helping, you know, you're coaching them in their business or how they think. They're always going to be stagnant unless you have that one person that coaches them through that and guides them and let them see what's outside the box, what's the possibility outside the box. And always ready to think ahead and seeing what's going on in the world that they can take advantage of, and just be creative enough to just take that risk and do it. So I always look at, trying to be flexible, trying to be creative, trying to stay within my profession so that I can take advantage of opportunities, and they're there. The opportunities are there. And it's just a matter of me pushing those buttons, when the time comes, when I'm ready, or when it's a great opportunity, or when it becomes the priority. Priorities do change, but don't let the possibilities change. They're there. Just be in control of them. That's my share. And this is Jeanette, and I'm complete.
Jeanette, thank you. Thank you so much, and thanks for being here. Really appreciate you and appreciate what you continue to bring to the stage. And with that, I'm going to go and pass to Squirrel.
Hi.
Hello.
So what causes me to go outside the box?
Yes, sir.
Any type of situation that's beyond my control. Anything that happens that I have no real controllable outcome to. Something in which I have no choice in the matter of thinking or doing by adjusting to a situation that happens within that moment. There's a lot of you never know with people. You never know what they're thinking, saying, or doing. So especially like what Jeanette was saying earlier in the workplace, thinking on your feet and being creative and having foresight and insight matters on your growth. It's hard to explain, Coach. I'm actually having a little bit of a rough time explaining it, but yet I know how to do it, and I've been doing it my whole life. It's just I've been doing this since I was a kid. A lot of times it's just things that happen beyond my control, where I was able to think and process a way to overcome whatever challenge or adversity that's come across me. I've never let anything like that hold me down or stop me whatsoever. It's just something I just do. Well, thank you.
You're welcome, Squirrel. Thanks. Thank you for being here always. Mr. Byron, how's your reception?
I fixed it as usual. My tech brain figured it out.
All right, well, jump in.
All right, so what I heard when I got back was what makes me go outside the box. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so in today's world, I can say complacency.
Byron, you're in the matrix.
Person. Darn it! I thought I fixed it.
Oh, there you go. I don't know what you just did. We heard you say, darn it, I just fixed it.
How about now?
Yep.
Okay. My fiance got off her phone, and now she has to listen to me. Yeah. So.
Byron. That the box of being courteous to your fiance is not a good box to get out of.
This is very true, and I say it with a wink and a smile and a kiss, because she did it automatically because she realized that maybe she was not helping the situation, and I just took advantage of that moment and said I did it, So this is the relationship box. But I grew up in the life of motion, race cars, motorcycle. Everything was an extreme for me since I was born. And the life of motion creates the need for action, because, you're moving.
Uh-oh. You're back in the box.
All right, let someone else go.
Nope, there you go. Now nope, you're fine. Go for it.
So, what if I talk like the Matrix? Will it encode and sound normal?
It is doing. Keep going. Just go slow. Don't try to go over fast.
All right, so that's the reality.
All right, brother. It's messing with you. All right. I tell you what, Byron, why don't you type it in the back channel and I'll read it?
Very good idea.
All right. Rhonda, are you ready?
Would that be outside the box, Les?
Yowa!
For me, thinking outside of the box has been just necessity. Necessity for survival, necessity for creativeness. I get told no all the time, and it started when I was young. No, you can't take that computer apart and put it back together again, and no, you can't play softball with the boys, and no, you can't do this, and no, you can't do that. But yes. No, it's just another way of saying find a different way to do something. So it's just that I wouldn't take no for an answer. That's what made me think outside the box, and what makes me think outside the box daily. Sometimes inside the box is easy, and you don't have to be a trailblazer, but it's commonplace too, and you can't get to where you want to be if you just stay inside the box all the time. Basically, what I have to say about being outside the box. Thank you.
Here's my question for you though, Rhonda, is what is it? Do you think this is something that attracts people to come and work with you, and why?
I think most of the people who've worked with me and left, and I inspire people to create their own businesses for some reason. I think I must make it look easy, but they'll leave and they'll go create their own business, come back and they're like, this is not as easy as I thought it was. And I think that is It's something that, because I've been told no so many times, that I just take it naturally and just move around it, find a different way. And then when they see me do that, they think, oh, well, I can do that too. She makes it look easy. Well, it's not easy. It's painful. And it's hard and it's difficult. And you've got to figure those things out when you're living on a shoestring budget, but you've got to have a piece of equipment to make the company grow. And you got to think outside the box and find some financing to make that happen, or sell something that you're not using to get that other piece, and find that other piece of equipment on a used asset, or borrow it, or rent it until you can pay for it. Those are all kind of things that and when a lady comes up and starts asking about hydraulics and compressors and those kind of things, you get that condescending attitude of, well, you shouldn't know what all that is. And that's particularly maybe my region that I'm living in, but it is something I get challenged with, particularly today. I had an employee who thought that I was just a pushover, just 5'4", and they thought, well, he's like 6'2" and towering up, telling me that I really didn't build this company. It was my late husband that did it, and that basically I didn't deserve his respect.
Ooh. I wish I'd been a camera on that wall.
No, after a while, you learn to control your emotions. You don't let people push your buttons, but we always think these things through before we have to say the things that we need to. You plan for the worst and hope for the best. And yes, I do not let anybody control my emotions. Nobody owns me. So I always try to think those things through. But yes, he did not stay with me. And it was over. Yeah, he just didn't think I would follow through on the things I told him that I needed to. So it's been a challenging day today. But keep thinking outside the box, because the next thing I did is pick up the phone and call somebody who I've helped many times, and they tell me, this person's looking for a position and that person's looking for a position, and these people are very talented. And before the day's over with, I had every problem that I thought I was going to be challenged with taken care of and moving right on along.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Thinking outside the box and not always just thinking, oh, well, that's the only path. No, that's not the way it goes. Sometimes when one door closes, many windows open.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Rhonda, thank you so much for accepting my invitation to come and play with us tonight. Because I think this is, for me, one of the things about Clubhouse and these rooms and being with amazing people is, for me, it's a place for us and our minds to play outside the box, to be in a space with people that are up to the same game, thinking outside the box. And when you're in that environment, it just continues to pull for you to think outside the box. So thank you. Thanks for coming and sharing, and, thanks for your wisdom and your bravado.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Always, always, always. And with that, Coach Rakesh, woohoo! Good to see you. How are you, sir?
Hey, Coach Les, I'm fantastic. And I think I'm the,
in the last edge of the box because I'm the last person, and I think our friend Kendrick, he is out of the box, sitting, So it's lovely, I was just listening all the speakers, and it's ironic that I just made my journey right now. That all my journey I was living out of the box. A poor farm boy in India. First box was broken of my village, went to city. The second box was broken that I left India. Here you go, Candy. Welcome to the box, man. Now you are going to be out of the box. So thank you, Les, inviting him. Yeah, so, and then, next box I broken that out of the box, that was India, out of India, that came to North America. And then just came to my career. I was in IT. And I just went out of that IT box and went to the real estate as an investor. And then I thought, what? My journey has been quite fascinating. Why not to share this journey? And these 3 C's came to my life. And that is coaches, courses, and conferences. And they gave me those other 3 C's. And I started living my life using those 3 C's I'm going to share. Help me to live my out of the box journey. And those 3 C's are: be crazy, be curious, and be creative. Because the way the world is going, either it's artificial intelligence or it's robotics or, all this new technological advancement, you have no option now to live out of the box, else you will feel stagnant, and I'm sorry to say that, out of your career. So living, within the box is no more option if you want to really be successful. Survival, of course, anybody can survive. But if you want to really enjoy your life, living out of the box, only way to live with adventure and happiness. That's what I have to say. I love the topic, Coach Les. You always bring the energy and some novelty to the room and wherever you are. And I was listening, everybody been amazing here. The only last line I can share here before I disconnect, that no matter how bad an adverse situation you are going through, as long as you are breathing, it's not done yet. And once you stop breathing, who cares? And ladies and gentlemen, may I request you all, just find your true passion and purpose of life and live it before this wonderful and beautiful journey of life comes to an end. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Coach. And thank you, everybody here, all the 9 of us. Thank you. Thank you, Candy, joining us. Now, you are going to be out of the box. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach. And, it's funny because as soon as Kendrick came up, we became the box of 9 on stage. And now the interesting thing, which I love to play when I see 9 people on stage, is take a screenshot of this, print it, and can you draw a line through all 9? Excuse me, through all 9 bio pictures without picking your pencil up and without going and crossing over the line?
Unfortunately, Coach, I know it, so I will leave on someone else. I know it, how to do that.
It's rather fitting, isn't it, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. And I think you brought in such a great wisdom here. And that is the right example, going out of the box, so to solve this puzzle, so that's the clue.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for bringing your spirit to the stage tonight. And with that, I'm going to pass over to Kenrick. Thanks for coming up, Kenrick.
Yo, what is going on to the moderators and everybody here? My name is Kendrick. I am your agent of gratitude because I live outside the box by building a life completely based on gratitude. I'm disabled, I'm handicapped, I have primary progressive multiple sclerosis, I don't have any health care. I was told I got to take chemotherapy in 2017, have not seen a neurologist since. Instead, I use things like herbs to take care of the chronic pain. I use things like cannabis to take care of my mindset. I use all type of things. My daughter is 9, and since she was 5 years old, she has been taught and knows when I'm having a seizure, where to go to make a cannabis tincture to put it in daddy's mouth to keep daddy from bouncing off of the floor. My entire life is based on gratitude, man. It is outside the box. It's a life that people don't understand, but I'm here, I'm grinning, I'm happy, and I am grateful every single day, because you're grateful when you talk about what you're grateful for. You show gratitude when you talk about and you write down why you are grateful, because 85% of our thoughts are negative. And if you spend 69%, just reduce that from 85 to 69, you'll have 1,200 more positive thoughts. And I really believe I exemplify that. I exemplify that by writing in that gratitude journal every day, at least 3 things why. I have it on my All Things One Love blog. Today is 533 days in a row I've done this. I have a journal at home. I've done it for 3 years in a row. And this is how I keep myself outside the box and how I keep myself away from the depression and away from the overthinking and away from the imposter syndrome. My name is Kendrick. I came to speak. I bow to the mods. I am complete.
Cool. That means you're bowing to yourself too, Kendrick. I love it.
Hey, Coach, will you allow me to ask some quick question from Kendrick? I'm curious.
Of course. Go for it.
And I'll ask Kendrick, but I'll welcome any of, very simple questions. Kendrick, first of all, thank you, man. Your energy just blew the room, gave the different light. So the quick question, for just 3 simple things, if you can share. The first one is, if possible in few words, what is the biggest risk you took in your life till today?
The biggest risk that I have taken at this point in my life, I think it's got to be when I turned my back on Western healthcare and decided to treat myself with all these holistic ways. I changed my diet. I smoke the herbs. I do things like smoothies and stuff like that whenever I can't use the bathroom. Whenever I have headaches, my wife makes me vitamin C and vitamin E rich foods to help the headache go away. All the things I do, the stuff like Kratom, is so far outside the box. I got to say that's the biggest risk that I've taken.
Thank you, Kendrick. I will not other 2 questions, and because you've been awesome, man. Yeah, you've been awesome. I will not ask, but not you, but I'm just what I was going to ask, and the second question was, what is the biggest adversity you have faced? In your case, I can relate and understand. And my third question was, what is the biggest achievement for anybody? Ask these 3 questions to yourself sometime, help you to kind of track down your own life. That what is the biggest risk you took? What is the biggest adversity you faced? And what is the biggest achievement you did? That helps a lot to reflect back on our life. Thank you, Kendrick. Thank you for sharing. And thank you, Coach Les, for allowing me to ask a question from Kendrick. Thank you.
Yo, no problem at all, Coach. And I think I got those answers ready for you. The biggest adversity I faced is finding employment. Because I'm disabled, I'm always struggling and dealing with those ADA modifications, employers asking the wrong questions, and me meeting the right criteria. And the greatest achievement is that I have rebirthed myself as an inspirational speaker, as a lifestyle blogger for people that have a chronic illness, that have a disability, that don't have health care. That is my shining achievement. The fact that I have rebuilt myself into what you hear and the person you see smiling with that yellow background, that's my biggest achievement.
Wow, Candy, I salute you. Candy, I'm curious. Do you have any like a YouTube channel or podcast, or you have written the book out of any of these three?
Absolutely. I've done all three. I have a gratitude journal. I have a few of those available on Amazon. I have my own personal ebook that tells the story of my life. It's called If You Can't Get Better, Be Better. That's on Amazon. And I have a YouTube channel called Mindset Over Bullshit. Today, as a matter of fact, it premiered, I think, episode number 12. It comes on YouTube every night at 9 p.m. Mindset Over Bullshit. And then I have the blog, allthingsonelove.com, where I give the wellness tips. I give the daily gratitude journal. I tell people about intentions, songs to listen to, different tools of mindset to get yourself out of a dark place. Thanks for even asking me that, King. 1,000 thank yous.
Thank you. I salute you, man, and you should thanks to Coach Les, who has created this amazing platform. Kendrick, you are simply inspiring, and you are the true out-of-the-box living legend. Salute you, man. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, Les. Coach Les. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Both of you are welcome, and thank you so much, both of you, for being here. Go ahead, Sujata.
Kendrick, that was awesome share, and I wanted to tell you that I followed you because I do wish to have more conversations on how you have dealt with MS. That's close to my heart because my daughter has MS, and I could do with the inspiring steps that you have taken.
Queen, 1,000 thank yous for those words of affirmation. I have no problem speaking with her, talking with her, messaging back and forth. The way that I live, the steps that I take, I truly believe if people take these steps with their medicine, these things of diet, these things of taking care of your mindset, how to live accordingly, and if you put those with the healthcare, I know people can get the cure and have the perfect healing that they need to get to where they want to go. So if she wants to talk to me, allthingsonelove.com. She can hit me on the back channel. I would love to speak with her.
I think we can start. If you just follow me, then I can, get talking to you.
That is done. I thought I had done that already, but yep, I was just following you now. I made sure that was done.
I will connect with you later offline.
Yeah, that's the perfect thing for everybody. Make sure all 9 of us are all following each other. My goodness. It's that simple. All right. Well, I want
Coach
to...
Les, thank you. I have just clicking to midnight here in Toronto, so I'll go to bed. And, once again, thank you very much. I took the screenshot, and it was lovely meeting you guys. Good night, and wherever you are, have an awesome time. Thank you.
You take care, Coach. And with that, I want to make sure, Ruchi, are you there?
Very much.
All right. Are you ready to jump in?
Yeah, sure. I mean, do you want me to answer the question, or do you just, I don't know what is expected of me?
Oh, well, my expectation is that you win the lottery and make us all millionaires with you.
Thanks, Coach Les.
Ruchi, I just waiting for you to hear something before I go to bed. So please share something.
The mic is yours, Ruchi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And just so everybody knows, my mic is never on. I'm muted because I'm feeding into a microphone that feeds into the internet. And so if you ever wonder that I'm leaving my mic off all the time, I do my best to stay quiet. I occasionally laugh, so I apologize. But the intention is that when people speak, it goes to this microphone that's right next to the phone. So I just want to let you know that, Ruchi. And I pass the mic to you, Ruchi.
I I don't think you need to apologize to laugh. I think it's just, just smiling and laughing just changes your mindset. So I always do that, especially when I see myself being cornered. I just laugh. I try to just lighten things up and, so I don't know. Why do people apologize to laugh?
I think sometimes because to some people it disrupts the flow of a serious thought.
Then they're thinking too hard.
Amen to that.
Yeah. I just feel you don't have to think too hard. It just has to flow. Anyway, coming back to being in the box and out of the box. So I definitely had to fight and struggle a lot to even recognize the fact that I was in a box. From the very beginning, since I was a child, I was conditioned and forced to be in a box. And I realize now that, I was more like a, just for example, like I was, I think, more of a tomboy than I was conditioned to be, to get married and look after your house. And I was dissuaded from having a career and, but I'm only very happy that I'm on this path now, and I've started recognizing the walls of the box, and I'm just chugging along and trying to push them down and free myself and discover myself in the process. So I think that's all I have to say for now, Coach Les.
Well, thank you, Ruchi. I appreciate you, and thanks for coming in and playing with all of us up on stage tonight.
Thank you for having me here, and I hope to see you guys more. Thank you so much. It was nice to be here.
Hey, Ruchi, thank you for sharing. The very first line says in your profile that born again. Do you want to share a line or two about that phrase, born again? What made you to write that?
Yeah, thank you. That was a very that was a good observation. Thank you so much. Like I said, I was put in a box from a very, very young age, perhaps even from the time when I was born. And I think most of us are. We are conditioned and, put in these expectations from us. And, but the fact that I have let go of everything, that was, I don't know how to put this in words, but the fact that I was so, literally pushed in and literally, it's like when a bottle has a small mouth to it and you're pushed into it, so you try and push something in, and it just doesn't want to go in. Well, that's me, I think. So I just, want to, I just want to break all that. And today, like I said, I have, kind of broken or let those walls go. I am shoving. I am, trying and fighting, and each day to collapse those walls and free myself. And hence, I believe that I am born again to live the life that I'm meant to live and be me. I think that is the most important takeaway from that. I'm still discovering myself. And as I believe that life is a journey, and all the time, I wouldn't have been here where I am today if I hadn't been in that box. And I'm very grateful for the people who did make me, kind of put me there and tried to shove me into that bottle and that box. And, I was always like, struggling and to the point of perhaps even screaming my lungs out, to get out. And I'm happy that I'm on that journey, and I thank those people. I think I am on a path to better myself and be grateful for the life that I have, and discover myself and connect with myself each day.
Thank you, Richie, for sharing, and congratulations. And hope one day I would like to see the face behind this rose, the flower, beautiful flower, one day. So thank you, congratulations once again. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruchi. Appreciate it. And if everybody wants to take a look, I just pinned All Things One Love presents Mindset Over Bullshit University, hosted by Kendrick, at the top. So for those of you, what he was sharing about, go ahead and give it a click and subscribe when you get there.
I love it.
Byron, you're back. We can hear you.
That's wonderful.
All right. Well, with that, Jeanette, we're gonna kind of wrap things up. Is there anything that you would like to share prior to us wrapping up this evening?
Yes, although Byron was not able to share, let me read his room chat.
Beautiful. Thank you for doing that. I have it. That's on my agenda next. So great. Go for it.
All right. Byron says, now he was in the Matrix, and so he did type some chats, and he says, Ruchi says, Byron, we can't hear. He says, it's all good. And he's been a good sport about it. So the least we could do is read what he posted. He said, I believe in today's world, for me, complacency pushes me outside the box. The word can't, spoken to me or from me, is a true outside the box moment trigger, aka aha.
An aha moment. I love it.
He says, thanks all of you.
Yes.
So, Byron, even though you can't talk, I'm sure it would be a great share that you had. At least we're able to read your chats.
Did you see, Jeanette? Did you see further up, right above you? He said, Jeanette, you are so talking my life.
Yes. So sometimes, that happens, right? If something's going to block you from talking, hey, the words will come out from someone else. And that's why, I always encourage other people, don't be afraid to speak up, and if you are, at least give a little bit so someone else can help articulate what it is that you're shy about.
Lady and gent, this is Kendrick. I just 1,000 thank yous for what y'all are for putting that up there. That goes really, really deep to my heart, man. That 1,000 thank y'alls for that. That's a hell of an affirmation. Thank y'all.
Well, Kendrick, it's the least we can do for the journey you've created, and then you come in and share that journey transparently and let us, and by the way, there's, God has no accidents, right? You had no idea that Sujata's daughter was dealing with MS, and to be able to come in and then create a relationship with Sujata, it's the least I can do to, put a pin up there and appreciate you.
That's how the world gets a little bit closer.
Amen. Amen. And I can't do it. I just tried to do it right now. I can't do it right now, but I will make sure to go to that link and subscribe and connect you back and forth to what I'm up to as well. Kendrick, are you on Twitter as well? I didn't even notice.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm on Twitter as Agent Gratitude. It's a link in the bio with the Instagram.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I don't always check all these things because I'm afraid of hitting the mic and people hearing me hit the mic all the time. There we go.
It is 2022. That fear makes perfect sense, man. In the world, people in courtrooms and have on dog heads and puppy faces in the courtroom. Hey, we have to take what we can to protect what we can. So I absolutely understand your reservations on that.
All right. And I just followed you, and there we go. Thank you. Thanks for promoting our room on your tweet. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Anytime I feel energy like this, I gotta share it. As much time as I spend on Clubhouse, yeah, I have to share it. Because there's so many others of us that don't even know about Clubhouse, and we're stuck in the houses and can't get outside to our backyards or anything. And Clubhouse brings the backyard, the front yard, brings the entire Eastern Hemisphere right in your lap. So, yeah, man, I had to share the room.
Well, I'm going to, there is somebody that I think that on Twitter that that I think would be a really good person for you to follow. Oh, look at that. I'm at Kendrick's and it's 11:11. Did I catch it?
Make a wish.
No, I didn't. I was trying to catch it on the photo and it didn't work. Oh, well. Anyway, so there's a lady that came in and spoke with us first thing this morning. Her name's Samantha, and she's from Ireland, and she is a probably one of the most powerful Twitter people on Clubhouse. And she gave us a big lesson today in our social media room first thing this morning at 9 a.m. And thought leaders and people that are sharing what you're sharing on your Twitter, she's definitely somebody you want to get connected with.
Cool beans. I'm absolutely down to connect. I love all this.
Awesome. All right. I will I'm going to connect you on Clubhouse when we're all done because it's easier for me to do it on Clubhouse. All right. And with that, let's get back to Clubhouse. And let's see, Rhonda, did you want to share anything before we knock her down?
I just wanted to say that I really appreciate everybody sharing, and I enjoy being here. And thank you for the invite. Thank you for sharing. And with that, that's my word of gratitude tonight. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you. Thanks for being here. Squirrel.
Hi.
Hello. Want to share anything before we lock her down?
I want to thank everybody for showing up and coming out, not only for yourselves, but for everybody else. When you sow what you reap. Straight up, you sow what you reap. Hard work pays off. It's hard, and then it's easy after that. But you put in the time, you put in the effort, you never stop believing in you. You never took no for the answer. And you proved that you had what it took, despite what anybody and everybody said to you. You made your reality because you believed you could do it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Squirrel. Appreciate you. Sissy Kosuge, hello. How are you tonight?
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for
doing great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
Are you up to answering the question of the night?
I'm here to listen, to learn. I don't know much about it.
Oh, I think you'll have an answer. You'll have an answer for the question, but we're just getting ready. We've been here for 2 hours. Coming up on 3 hours. So, excuse me, coming up on 2 hours. So we're about ready to close down, but I would love to have you participate and share if you would like.
From morning, I tried to search this room, but I didn't find it. So I'm sorry that I came here so late. But I'd like to hear the replay. So I let me listen and learn at first. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And Sissy, I will add you to the list so that you'll be able to find it next time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. All right, Sujata, is there anything you want to share before we... Yes, go for it.
I want to thank everybody for taking time out, because you need to have discerning minds to come to some such rooms and to talk about such topics which make you to reflect and think. And I want to thank Janet for today's defining the conversation, since both Coach Les and I forgot what we were going to say, but it ended beautifully, because these are the things that we want to talk about. And Coach Les, of course, to you, no matter how much I say, whatever I say, whenever I say, it doesn't do you enough justice for always uplifting people, promoting people, and consistently taking out time to do those things. That calls for consistency and character. And you can't see it, but Lotus is making approving gestures. So she's saying yes. That's what you say. So just as you love me and my family also loves you a lot. And they are not, unlike me, they don't easily fall in love, if I may be honest.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for being my partner in Wednesdays and Fridays podcast. And we'll definitely look at seeing what we can do on Thursday and get that into the ball of wax as well. And I just want to do a quick shout out to Nikel. Thank you so much for being here. I just sent you a back channel. I'm so sorry we're shutting down. If you'd like to come up quick and share with us, say hello and join the stage. We've just been our 1 hour podcast has turned into 2 hours. So we appreciate everybody that stops in, and I just want to say thank you, Nikel, and I look forward to seeing the Book Writing Club on Tuesday. And Sissy, thanks so much. I hope you enjoy the replay. Make sure you send me a back channel so that I can get your opinion on it. Because, by the way, Sujata and I always take criticism so that we can level up our game. We're learning this game. We're called Podcast Videocast. We're continuing. Byron is masterfully got the patience of Job working with me on my mixer and my microphone, and just really appreciate that, and just want to do a huge shout out to him so that he knows that I really do appreciate him and the time he's already spent, and I'm super excited to see it all come to fruition. And
much more to come, obviously, sir.
Oh, yes.
We appreciate you, Byron. Thank you for doing that.
You know, I just appreciate the internet because it gets me around people like you that are like-minded and put me in a better place to do what I do. So thank you guys, truly.
You're welcome. And I'll make sure that you are outside the box with your fiance.
She's sleeping right now. She couldn't resist the 2 hours, but I'm gonna jump off before you guys just to make my presence known when I exit. So I love you guys, I really do. So thank you guys so much. And I wish I could have spoke more, but the reality is sometimes I learn more when I'm listening. So that's what the virtue of today was, just to be quiet and listen. So thank you guys.
And before anybody leaves, make sure you go down and you follow those two lovely ladies, especially Rinalini. Lotus is in the house. Hi, Lotus. Woohoo!
I invited her. I think she's going to hide down there. Oh, there we go.
Oh, now you can hear me. I said, hi, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. Sujata's hiding her mic and hiding her picture.
Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you to you and Janet for buying her latest book. These podcasts are very interesting. Next one, I'm going to join in from the beginning. I've been listening in through Mom's laptop for some time now. But yeah, thank you.
Well, you know that whenever I'm speaking with your mom, I know I'm speaking with you and Conscience and Lightning. Yeah, the only person that's missing is Mr. Tawari, and somehow one of these days I'll figure out how to get him to listen.
I'm sure that they will come, Coach.
There you go. Your mom is shaking her head.
She's funny. Coach, if you pull to refresh, I put the picture on there that I sent Sujata.
There you go. I love it.
Lotus, if you pull to refresh, there's the picture I sent your mom.
I saw Janet, and I love the fact that there is her previous book in the background, very smartly placed, and the recent book in your hand. That's nice.
All right, you guys, I've got it. I'm gonna have to play this game, pull to refresh, and see what my angel is doing for me.
Yeah, you should do that.
I have
that, Sujata. We got a competition going.
Did you pull to refresh yet, Sujata?
Yes, I did. And without asking your permission, I forwarded it to some people.
Oh, too funny. Well, now we just have to see, all of this is sitting here, and we're empowering Rhonda to write a book. That's my hidden agenda, is to empower Rhonda to write a book, to empower Jeanette to write a book. And Sissy, have you written a book yet, Sissy? Uh-oh. She bailed out. She's like, I'm out of here.
And we're all going to empower Coach Les to write a book.
Yes. I'm in process. She's back.
Sorry. I don't know why I got lost. Sorry. I didn't read this book.
Have you written a book yet, Sissy?
No.
Excellent. I know you have a book in you. You have a story to tell, don't you, Sissy?
No. Sorry, not now.
I'm
not ready.
You're not ready to write a book?
Yeah, read the book. I'm ready, but
Good.
At first, I needed to buy the book.
No. This is my mistake, Sissy, that you have a book to write yourself about your life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, I got it.
Yes. So we want to make sure that we're creating that you and Rhonda and Jeanette write a book. Does that make sense?
I'll try.
Woohoo!
There is no try, there is only do.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Sujata, anything else for you?
No.
All right. Well, I just wrote a note to Sissy on the back channel. I hope you understand. We want you to write a book.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. I so appreciate and love each and every one of you. Thanks for coming and joining us. We are excited for next week. We will be back, and I think I will be able to speak a little bit about this fun little book by Friday. Just a little bit of a wink.
That will be awesome.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you. And Lotus, thank you so much for coming in and joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. And Lotus, you need to connect with Kendrick.
Okay.
Kendrick, this is the lady we were talking about, Sujata's daughter.
Yo, what's going on, Queen? I'm on the back channel.
I'm a little lost in this conversation, but I'm sure my mom will fill me in.
Yep, that's why I figured I would just hit you on the back channel.
Sure.
Lotus, Kendrick is a walk. He is a living, breathing miracle, and he's got lots to share.
Got it. I will connect with him separately.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and we will see you in the hallways. We will see you the next time, whatever that looks like. I'm going to have fun and show you my latest ornament for my garden. I'm changing my bio picture. My wife thought I was absolutely crazy buying this thing. It stands about 4 feet tall. It was the most obnoxious thing in the store, and my daughter and her walked by it and went, "What is that thing?" I walked by it, picked it up, and put it in the cart, and I bought it.
Coach, that is so appropriate for today when we say thinking outside the box. That is something that will never be found in a box.
Well said.
Oh my goodness gracious. Amen. And Byron put on the back, I don't know if you saw it, Kenrick, but he put on the back, such an amazing group of humans. Love the support. Kendrick, my man, we have to connect. So much value can become of it. Truly an inspiring man you are. And then he also wrote Book Creator Club and then said goodbye to all of us. So it's for me, it's just been a wonderful evening. And I just thank each and every one of you, because it takes a village to really create this kind of community. And thank you all. And with that, I'm going to do what I do. Oh, Squirrel, did you want to chime in one more time?
No, I was clapping. I'm a happy, joy. Happy little squirrel.
Well, I think we got a squirrel and a chicken on stage, and I'll tell you, that squirrel is a well-dressed squirrel.
I just think that squirrel's pretty good. It's a Yoda with closed eyes. I love it.
Well, I just love the outfits that it keeps coming in the room with.
I still think though my favorite one that he's showed us before. My favorite one is one that I've now I'm not going to be able to find it in this last minute rush. Here it is. This is my This is my favorite from him, and I've stolen it.
That squirrel is on fire. That's why it just pops out every time I see that picture.
Coach Les?
Yes.
Before we close, I see a good friend of mine, Carl, who's down in the audience, and he's a very, very interesting personality. Could you ask him to come up and share 2 minutes?
Carl, come on up. You're supposed to show us how interesting you are, Carl. The mic's yours.
Well, it's 10:30 at night. It's been a long day. I'm not quite sure how interesting I'm going to be for the next few minutes. But I'll give it a go. What's the topic?
The question that was asked was, what has you be an outside the box thinker? And I already know that you are, because Sujata wouldn't say that somebody was interesting unless they lived outside the box.
That's actually a preoccupation of mine, I must agree. Last night we had on Clubhouse, there was actually a large discussion about what it takes, the kind of internal, external constraints we're all stuck with, including during gestation. And let's call those the internal constraints. And then the external ones are the ones imposed upon you by the cocoon-like environment most of us have to endure. And at some point, we become philosophers. And it was a philosophy room, so of course, philosophy was the epitome of possible human achievement in that room. But what it takes to break free of it, what it takes to start doing it, and we spent a long time on it last night. It was fun. But rather than just talking about living outside the box, what particular box is anybody in? And let's see if we can live outside it.
Well, there you go. That is
nobody feeling boxed in?
Nope.
I'm free.
Nobody's feeling boxed in at all. Not at all.
Well, in that case, there's no point in living outside the box. If nobody's in a box, we're all outside the box, aren't we?
Well, you happen to be in a room where we've spent the whole night living outside the box and sharing.
All right. As I'm a late arrival, so just catch me up real quick. What was the best outside the box experience in this room tonight?
Probably Kendrick, because the guy has created a miracle in his life.
Yo, what's going on, Carl? My name is Kendrick. I got the yellow background. What they speak of is that I introduced myself as Kendrick. I'm the agent of gratitude because I have primary progressive multiple sclerosis. But the neuros pushed for chemotherapy in 2017, and I had been living without any medicine, without any Western medication for my disease ever since. I changed my diet. I smoke different herbs to deal with things like going to the bathroom, to deal with headaches. My wife makes me different dishes to deal with stomach aches. I live completely the holistic way. If I'm having seizures, my kids know how to go and make a cannabis tincture to put the drops in daddy's mouth. So my head will stop banging on the table, and then boom, I'm good to go in a couple of minutes. I live like this because I don't have the health care, and it's been a touch and go thing. But we have built this thing up, man, to where looking at me, the way you see me in that picture, you would never know what everything that we do here. And I believe that that's what they speak of. I'm out here rocking and rolling, doing this thing, living a life of gratitude, showing people that if you just get your mind focused on things that are going good, all that bad shit falls to the side. That's why my TV show, not even the TV show, that's why my YouTube show is called Mindset Over Bullshit. Because I believe you can put your mindset over so much of this chronic pain. You can put your mindset over so much of your disabilities. That's why I call myself the leader of the God Squad. Gratitude over disabilities. We can do so much more if we just focus on what is going good. I can brag to you today about how I'm wearing my thick socks, so I'm in the garage, and my thick socks stop the garage floor from making my feet cold, so I don't have any seizures out here. Instead, I'm just having a good time talking with y'all and enjoying my Friday night. This is my life of gratitude. This is what I'm always talking about. This is the way I live my life. I'm at allthingsonelove.com. I'm a lifestyle blogger, and that's what my entire lifestyle blog is about. Living, rocking, and rolling, being grateful, showing that gratitude. I'm complete.
That's very interesting, I must admit. Kendrick, you know, when you said if you concentrate on the good, the bad things will fall away, it's actually a variation of a thing they teach in the German military called the Auftragstechnik. Basically, there's a concept in it called, it's in German again, the Schwerpunkt, the heavy point, or the thing of criticality, the place of the place where if you make this particular thing work, nothing else matters. The whole situation changes. I wonder if your emphasis on the good might not be some variation of that you find promulgating or affecting good to be a critical point. And if you make something happen that's good, a lot of the bad stuff that tries to glom on will fall away. That it might not be some variation of, sadly, what they teach, well, not sadly, but what they teach in military school.
That sounds super interesting, and it sounds very much aligned with the way I do things. That sounds so much aligned and explains so much of how I feel, the way I rock. That's it. I focus my mindset on what's going good, so much other just seems to melt. It doesn't mean things disappear. It just means that I can get through those moments because I know what is going good. I'm still smiling about what's going good. So whatever you bring it to me negative, whatever the kids are talking about, whenever you somehow step on that kid's Lego, you are still grateful because you remember this morning they drew a picture for you. And you know that picture is their love language. So that just hit your heart. So when you step on the Lego, it doesn't make you as mad. You're not fussing and screaming like you used to because you're still on that doggone picture. That's just the way it works, man.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, it's you realize, of course, Kendrick, that you could have just as easily, I mean, it's a 50-50 coin toss, have focused on the bad and all the good would have fallen away. The system works in both directions, but I'm glad you took the particular path you did. You have a certain happiness to your voice. Good to hear.
I agree with you there too, because I started out the wrong path. I mean, I was diagnosed with my condition in 2016. That first 2 years, from 2016 to 2018, I went from teacher of the year and my son's football coach to being in that wheelchair. And with that came all the depression. With that came all the negative thoughts. I was in a bad place. The wife and I were talking about divorce. I drove myself 35 miles away to a friend's house using canes because I couldn't operate my legs and feet the way I'm supposed to. And when I showed up, he fussed at me and told me about how he was disappointed in me. I'm letting this disease get to me, that I can do so much more and that I can't just give up that way. And from that day, August 12th, 2018, I've been in this gratitude journal, just slowly getting better with it, understanding my why statements. My wife does not do this. She says it's too much work. But she said we have gone from getting a divorce in 2018. It's 4 years later King, if we are out eating somewhere and she thinks a grown man is making fun of me, the handicapped dude, she's trying to fight him. That's crazy to think we went from where we were to the point of where she is now my greatest bodyguard of all time. I mean, it's crazy how this stuff goes, and it's because she just sees me working so hard to be grateful. She can see things going bad. She sees me writing that all the time, and just makes her think, I can't even bullshit. I can't even try to get mad because somebody cut me off in traffic whenever I see you doing all that. It's damn near frustrating. And it just, I mean, stuff like that, even her sending those words to me, that does not fall on deaf words and deaf ears now. I accept that. I see that. I feel that she gives it to me. It no longer just bounces off of me. And that's because of the gratitude, man. You just begin to spend more time on yourself, on self-reflection, and you just grow and you start to be better. That's what my book is called, If You Can't Get Better, Be Better. Because it's all about the mindset.
Interesting. This treatment that you went through, I guess the regime was self-imposed or self-designed. Did you document any part of it?
The treatment that I went through in terms of medicines or something?
No, but I mean, if you're in a wheelchair, the good doctors probably gave you something delivered by the American Medical Association Medical Mafia, a certain set of recipes that they trot out for which they cannot be sued. And you deviated from it. You made a decision to go a different direction.
Yes.
Did you document the genesis of that decision plus the course of treatment? I gather you prescribed this for yourself to some extent.
Yep, I've done all this. Has been trial and error. I was on the American healthcare system. I was on the Western medicines for 6 months. I took the first 3 medicines, and each of those 3 made my lesions increase. Mm-hmm. When they first diagnosed me with multiple sclerosis, I had 16 lesions, 12 on the brain and 3 or 4 on the spine. And 6 months later, after Tisabri, I had stereopsychosis where I was put into I had a mental episode that broke because they put me on steroids. I had Tisabri and got hospitalized. After 6 months, I had 12 lesions on my spine, and they stopped counting at 54 on my brain because they knew it was just too much and it was time for chemotherapy. Stopped counting at 54. And at that point, I have not been back to a neurologist since. Actually, I went to a neurologist last year because I had fallen off of the toilet and it hurt my back. The neurologist, when I came out in the wheelchair, the neurologist had read my medical report from 4 years ago and said he was shocked that I looked as good as I did and sounded as strong as I did because I hadn't taken any medicine in 4 years. He couldn't believe it. He could read on my medical report that they said I needed chemotherapy. And here I was, although I'm not walking, I sounded stronger than he thought he could sound his damn self. I knew I was onto something there.
Kendrick, had you documented the course of treatment and you're at whatever measurements you could take and created an extensive enough document, you could have given it to people. They might have been able to do the kind of an institutionalized study prescribing the same course of treatment. You might end up helping other people that have got the same affliction.
I have a lifestyle blog where I've shared my journey from the moment I left medication since. So all the different types of the different crates of medications, it's not even a medication, it's an herb. It's like a root. Everything from kratom to the different types of cannabis to how we make cannabis tinctures to how we make CBD tinctures with alcohol. I mean, the different things that we do are all over my blog. The ones that work, the ones that don't work, smoothies that help me actually use the bathroom. If I can't pee, I will actually roll and make a red clover joint. And the ingredients in the red clover, something in that herb, releases and helps me relax so that I can actually pee. The things that we do now, I feel like I'm some type of native warrior who's just out here almost like dancing with the clouds. I know I live a life that's hard to explain. But yep, all the stuff that I do is right there on my blog, allthingsonelove.com. The entire journey is there.
Interesting. it would be, it might be helpful to, how many other people with the same affliction, same condition, adopt a course of action such as you've chosen?
You know what? I have no idea. I have 3 aunts with this illness who have passed away, and they all had health care. I have a cousin with this condition. She's blind because it took her eyes before it took her legs. She has health care. She's actually a military vet. So I have 4 relatives with this. 3 have passed away. I'm the only one without health care living and doing the things that I do. And I promise, I know I feel better on the inside than they feel. And I know I smile bigger than they smile.
Interesting. I would try and find a professional medical practitioner and make sure that he or she reads your blog. There may be something in this. You could volunteer it to, if there's such a thing, I don't know if there's an Alzheimer's Society or something else. It might be worthy of formal study. Because all of the various treatments that you have, which are, sort of anecdotal, you kind of developed them yourself, or you found them by trial and error. That might be of immense use to people. Not all medical treatments are known, and the ones that tend to survive the predation of the American Medical Association are the ones that generally have large pharmaceutical company sponsorship, which means large pharmaceutical company profit. And they tend to ignore treatments that are that do not yield them the same result. For example, I read Dirk Pearson and Sandy Shaw's book on life extension. I think it was in 1981. It's been 41 years. And I wasn't even 30 years of age at that time. And I prescribed, and have been building ever since, a fairly extensive set of sort of nutraceutical supplementation. I take a lot of stuff every day. So does Ray Kurzweil, for example. And I have hardly any health problems whatsoever, not in 40 years. Just don't need operations, don't do this, didn't catch COVID. Very large levels of all the things now they're finding out, vitamin D, C, all that stuff, astaxanthin, the whole mess. I'm well aware of somebody, if you even walk up to medical professionals today, they'll say, well, you can get everything you need from food. It's drivel. It's absolute nonsense. But they still insist on saying it because that is what they were taught. If they recommend that I abandon them, I just simply disobey them. I don't listen to them. I'm well aware of a similar sort of thing where you have something you believe in. Now, I don't know if it's the belief that keeps you healthy or it's the actual material that you're ingesting, but I'm well aware of the phenomena.
That belief, I think, is it all the way. I know that's it. I wasn't. A lot of people confuse the power of gratitude, and they combine it with religion, which is awesome. Go for it. But I'm not a religious person myself. I'm actually an omniist, which means you accept every single religion as truth. And I only got to there because of my growth from that gratitude journal, just making me always introspect and making me always omnipresent of what's going on good around me, making me relax. And because of that, I almost feel as though the gratitude itself, my affinity, my true not even affliction, my almost like a passion for gratitude itself. There have been times, Carl, I promise, man, I'm always unemployed because I always get sick on different jobs. I'm out for a while. There have been times whenever I have to pay the cell phone bill. I'm about to start crying because I can't pay the cell phone bill. Twice, I have found $100 in my sock drawer to pay the cell phone bill. And I have to ask my wife, are you hiding money from me? Are you hiding money from yourself? And she always just stares at me. What are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? Why would I hide money in your sock drawer? Hell no, I didn't hide money in your sock drawer. I don't know where the money came from, but let me go pay the phone bill. It's done there with the phone bill twice, and I just believe that's the power of gratitude. things that just go good, I just right away stop and I look up. Yo, appreciate that gratitude. Shout out to your gratitude. Big love to your gratitude. Oh man, you got me again. And there's just a conversation I'm constantly having. And I've gotten open with it. I'm not the best with it yet, but I get better all the time. And I know that that's what it is. It's that I actually think of this gratitude like it is that true power right above me, keeping me going.
Very good. Kendrick, I wish you the very best in it. It sounds like it's funny, you take command of your own life. In your particular case, this particular condition that you have, and you run it, you do as well sometimes as the best external advice you can get. It's funny about that. Experts are not always experts, because the experts put you on a regime of treatment that wasn't working, and they had no other answer. There's probably a lesson in that for all of us in many things.
Amen.
It's heartening to hear your story. It's a good story, Kendrick. You should make a habit of telling lots of people. You have a blog, you have this, you have that, but don't be shy about telling people. There's an inspiration here, something. If you can turn one other person from, I'm going to use the Star Wars expression, from the dark side of the Force, get them concentrating on more positive aspects, and that encourages them to make the changes that improve their life. You've done a good deed. You've done something of value. Your story sounds like it has a great possibility to do that.
Well, he's started with his YouTube right above up above Sujata.
Yeah.
Carl, 1,000 thank yous for pouring into me tonight. 1,000 thank yous for your questions. Coach, Sujata, thank y'all for giving them time. Everyone for giving them time to ask me these questions. I don't get many opportunities to just talk this stuff out, get this stuff off my chest. I use the blog to write it out. I use my show to talk about it. I answer people's questions and everything all the time, but it's very rarely do I get a stage to just have these questions asked of me, get these questions out. So 1,000 thank yous, Carl. I sincerely appreciate this to everyone.
Well, nothing to thank me for, Kendrick. You're the one who's struggling with the condition, and it seems prevailing. The congratulations should actually go to you, not to me. Asking 2 or 3 questions doesn't make me any kind of a hero here. What you're doing is inspirational. My suggestion is I would make an effort to tell your story. There are people out there, probably all around you, on the bus you take to go to work, on the stroll down to the corner store to buy something, on the the people that come in and out of your house. There are lots of people these days that are in rough shape. They don't have a clear vision of who they are, and they certainly don't have a clear vision of what they want to do or where they want to go. It seems most of the time they're just hell-bent on enjoying or enduring a constant stream of stimuli and sensation. Rather worthless things to do. Your story has merit. It's a story that should be told. I encourage you to do so.
Well, one of the things he shared earlier, Carl, that he is on a path to become a motivational speaker. And I think, so he is definitely, thank you for pouring into him what he's up to, because that really is, I think the more people that continue to say that to him, it'll strengthen him as he continues his journey as a motivational speaker.
Given his condition and the tremendous strides he's made, I doubt anything I would say would change his motivation or improve it any. He's, He's climbed a very tall mountain, and he did it essentially, as far as I can gather from the story, essentially by himself, and in opposition to, and probably there would have been some social pressure to stick to the approved regime of the medical people, but you make a break with it, and then by kind of a hunt and peck trial and error system, devise a set of treatments to keep yourself functional. And this is not a pleasant condition. This isn't just like getting a cold or ingrown toenail or something trivial like that. This is an all-encompassing condition that affects you on multiple physiological, probably mental levels at the same time. And to prevail in spite of that, what am I going to say? Go team, go. I mean, that's not a good. It's the real motivation is internal, and I'm sort of kind of impressed by it. I got to admit.
Well, Carl, I'm gonna stand shoulder to shoulder with you and say that what you say, and Kenrick, correct me if I'm speaking inaccurately, but Carl, what you're saying does actually support Kendrick, because I think so many people think that he's doing it all on his own, and yet those are the people that need the rest of us, that want the rest of us to come up and and be the rising tide so he can go higher. Because when the rising tide steps in, all boats rise higher. And so I would never say to stop acknowledging what you just poured into Kenrick, because Kenrick will take all of our positiveness. Pardon?
Appreciation.
Yeah, and appreciation, because it feeds his soul. Right, Kenrick?
That is it exactly. That is it exactly, man. That kind of stuff is the fuel. It's like the fire to the flame. That's what gives you the energy. That is it exactly, man. I can't put it any better. I can't put it any better. Any better. Great job.
Well, there you go. That's the clip of the day. And just FYI, Kenrick, this is completely, this whole room is on replay, so you'll be able to pick this up. You can pick it up and throw it right into YouTube and add it to your collection.
I will definitely do that. 1,000 thank yous for that.
Well, Clubhouse is continuing to pave a path for all of us.
Les, I understand why you say what you do, and for certain people, it can be important. My background is I do pre-startup project formation, things like this. I do the work before anybody else even gets there. And in my particular business, external applause or approval is almost unnecessary. You always find yourself a lone voice shrieking in the wilderness. And by choice, the moment there's a crowd there, you subcontract off what you're doing to them and go back into the no man's land, which is where the great projects are built. And there's a unique kind of, and I see them everywhere. Like, when you do something long enough, you spot like souls. What impresses me on all of this that Kendrick is doing is that, it would have been so easy just to continue to sit in the wheelchair and say, well, they gave me the best treatment they had, and that was it. But somehow there was a decision made, and probably at the very bottom of the, not the bottom of the moment when the condition was at its most powerful. It puts you in a wheelchair physically. It might put you in a kind of a mental wheelchair as well. And yet, in spite of that, there was a change in thinking and a determination from a very low point with probably not too much physical strength left, or perhaps not even much mental strength. But the real journey here is the journey back. The trial, the error, the initial mistakes, and the willingness to go on and keep doing it. That's actually the thing that resonates with me. And all the way up, and now Kendrick's got a happy voice and he's enthusiastic about life and living. Compare that to the day when he was sitting in the wheelchair at which he, let's say, nearly lost all hope. That's the real journey. That's the real thing of value. That's the thing that I would hope would be communicated. There are thousands of people. And maybe the condition is so normal, everybody just doesn't see it anymore. There are thousands of people all around each of us who are in this, well, the cliche is a rut, but, a very constrained, restricted, kind of seemingly hopeless place. And they have no sense they can lift themselves out of it. It's a good story. Kendrick, it's a good story. There are aspects to it that should be pushed out. And, even if you don't find and help one other soul, at least the effort, the journey to try that might be worthwhile doing.
Well, Carl, we already
absolutely agree.
We already have the one soul that is being communicated to right here on stage. So we're already 100% of the goal you just created, Carl. We'll take on a bigger goal here in a moment.
Okay.
By the way, Coach, I want to say something.
Yes, please, Lotus.
I want to thank you, Carl, and Kendrick for this particular discussion towards the end of the room. I'm so glad Carl came up on stage. Carl, just to introduce myself, I'm Sujata's daughter. And because you asked Kendrick a few questions, he had the stage to talk about his blog, his MS and how he deals with it. And I'm the one who's benefiting the most in this room because I have MS too. Of course, not as bad as Kendrick's, but thank you to all of you for even having this discussion here. Immense gratitude to all of you, and Kendrick, especially to you. I will connect with you offline. Thank you.
There we go. First home run, Kendrick. Keep on swinging.
I have to say, are you sure you're Sujata's daughter? She looks like your younger sister.
No!
Thank you so much for that.
We're gonna call Carl Suave.
Yeah, there's a little bit of the imp and the mischievous in all of us.
Oh, absolutely delicious. What a delicious conversation tonight. And for those of you that don't quite understand my use of the word delicious, think of the best meal you've ever eaten. And then for those of you that drink wine, the greatest food and wine pairing you've ever had. And for me, these conversations are like eating that meal. And it feeds my soul. And it's why I'm here. So thank you, Carl. Thank you for providing not dessert, because we already had that when Lotus stepped into the room. But thank you for providing the port wine with blue cheese to finish the evening with a cigar at the end of an amazing meal.
I'm not sure I had too much to do with it. Kendrick did most of the inspiration.
Well,
what other, if I can ask, what other box was addressed in this? Because it seems like there's been there has to have been more than one.
Sujata's got plenty to share on that.
This is what I would call Coach Less's humor at putting somebody in the box when we are trying to be out of the box. So, Carl, no, it actually, I have to tell you the background of this room. Uh, on Wednesdays and Fridays, Coach Les very kindly takes out time to discuss these topics, which started from after he was the first person on Clubhouse, and a man, I have to say this, though I don't want to bring the gender in, but I have to say this, who actually took me by surprise, bought my book, read my book for hours, almost nights through. We didn't care how many people came into the room, but we just read the book through. Thereafter, it was read in other rooms too, but he's the first one who did it. And then he did what my book is meant to do, which is to inspire for deeper meaning conversations taken from the book, because I've gone through many things and I have lived the life according to non-prescribed notions. I mean, when people say no to Sujata, then Sujata does the opposite. And so I've been doing that since childhood. And uh, obviously he's met my children and he's met my family. But if you talk of anything from childhood difficulties to handling a rape case for 8 years in a country like India, where we were ostracized, it's stigmatized. It's a journey which is worth reading. And what he does is, I'm really moved and touched beyond words, because he has these rooms and we discuss this. He treats me as an equal. There is no putting me down. I've been always been surrounded by people who put me down, but after my spiritual experience, I have also found my human angels like Coach Les, Janet, and many others who actually uplift me. It doesn't take a lot to be kind and compassionate. Yet, for human beings, it's the hardest thing to do, I guess. So,
Actually, a good question. Why is it so hard for people to be kind? It doesn't cost any money. It's not. It's not like it's an imposition on you to do it.
Would you like me to throw you an answer to that question?
I would love it if you. Yes, anything that you suggest, I'm open to all of it.
Well, in my humble experience, I have found that the people that are not kind are dealing with an internal conversation where they have so many dominoes of life that have tipped over and spokes of their wheel that are broken or bent, that any expenditure of positive energy going out in their experience and in their thought pattern would leave them at such a loss, it could be devastating. So therefore, to conserve all of that quote unquote kindness as if it was limited is what they perceive and then continue to go through life with. And you can often see it in their life, in their physique, in their actions, as it eats them up and eats them away.
yeah.
If that were, and I'm going to pose the philosophical question because I actually think you're right. If that were true, why would anyone continue to do it?
Well, for one, no one is patient enough to sit down with them and show them another way, and also to hold their hand as they go through the transference from being closed and being hurt, being closed, to being open and still occasionally being hurt, and realizing, I may get more out of life if I'm open and occasionally getting hurt than being closed and getting hurt and getting smaller. So it really takes something to go against that spirit of closing and entice them and be so willing to hear and listen that they reach out and they open up and step outside.
Let me think about that a little bit, because you may be onto something here. So, I try and run my life at least a little logically. And given what you said is true, because as I think about it, I've seen people become more and more miserable as the years go on, and finally destroy themselves. They're either consumed by their consumption of external what I laughingly refer to as unlicensed pharmaceuticals, and they destroy themselves. They simply consume their life, and they pass out of it as almost a wretch. I mean, just not almost a human being at all.
Mm-hmm.
Angry, bitter, depressed. No, not good. And other people just seem to have the magic. They may also, well, we all will pass out of the life, except for me, of course. I'm going to live forever. But you know, you're all going to pass out of it. But the days are better. The days seem to be longer. You have more of a life and more of a good life. And the most amazing thing, and I don't mean just in terms of money, it doesn't cost anything at all to do it the one way instead of the other.
The difficulty, though, Carl, is it's that trust, and the world is not designed to listen to people. And it is such a oxymoron to go against society for many people, against the media, against the prevailing wave of sheepdom, that to upset the apple cart and be the person that stops and sits down next to the ailing person sitting on a bus stop and offer them succor, that doesn't happen. People are so into taking versus giving. And a book that I read, The Story of Bee and Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, you know, yes, our frontal cortex has separated us from the apes and the gorillas. What didn't go with it was the emotional coefficient of learning that is the preeminent thing that stays in the primates, in the amygdala and part of the hippocampus. And we are so busy with technology and the new widget and gadget to make life faster and live more, that we have forgotten how to stop, sit down, wiggle our feet in the dirt and fingers in the dirt, smell the grass, feel the wind, sense the water and the warmth of the earth and the communication of everything non-electronic.
You're pushing a fair number of interesting concepts out. So give me a minute or two and let me try and metabolize a few of them. Interesting. You know, Les, I have to tell you, I've done startups for more than 50 years, and I'm actually quite horrible with people. I don't read them at all. And so I've tended to concentrate more on process rather than people. And when you go to an extreme, it actually works. So when someone comes up with a kind of something on the people around me, I'm always sort of astounded that things to them that are such simple common sense, to me are, they become as wondrous kind of revelations. Anyway.
My journey and my path through life, Carl, has been fraught with logic and a genetic IQ that had me want to be different than my dad and my sisters. And I took my IQ and my logic and ran to the world of EQ and learned as much as I could, as fast as I could, by immersing myself in the worlds of sales, being a waiter, being a janitor, being a cleaner, being the snow shoveler from next door, the lawn mowing kid from next door, even when I was in college. The waiter that learned how to cook tableside, the waiter that learned how to swear to customers and have them laugh and give him lots of money. So thus satisfying my frustration by being able to swear at them, and yet they perceived it as sport and fun and gave me lots of money. And learning how to beat billionaire corporate owners in their suits and BMWs at their own game by walking away from dollars a paycheck and what they considered, how can you walk away from this? How can you not subscribe to this methodology? Well, because there's more to life than money. There is. And then finding the true connection one day walking around my house in my skivvies after getting off a coaching call and looking outside and realizing that for me, God put me on this planet to make a difference with all the mistakes and all the difficulty that I provided for my coaches and the people around me and my parents, God rest their souls, to produce this human being called Coach Les that now spends 8 hours a day giving on the halls of Clubhouse due to the fact that it is a way that I can give back to everybody that's given to me and left me with an amazing life.
It's interesting. I noticed both in yours and in Kendrick's and Sujata's as well, that there's an element of extending yourself beyond yourself to others that creates a strong framework of value. Just by way of introduction, in my particular case, it's the project that always is the thing that gets the attention. Has to. The projects themselves do things that at least I believe are good. And one hopes that when those things get out there, the good that they do will in some way reflect on you. But it's a dedication it's a dedication to finding better tools, let's say, in the hope that those better tools will improve humanity and mankind.
And I agree. My bloodline is framed in logic. My grandparents, my mom, my dad. I am the Dennis the Menace that left the fold and went a different route. And at 46 years old, 44 years old, had a conversation with my dad where I said, Dad, I've never felt like I've lived up to your expectation. I've never felt good enough. To a father who graduated with a mechanical and electrical engineering degree from the University of Edinburgh, was in the Royal Corps of Engineers, taught at MIT, worked with Seymour Cray, and produced 2 daughters, one who is a genius with numbers and the wealthiest in our family, a second daughter who got her degree in 3 years, her PhD 4 years later in artificial intelligence, and was the brainiac at studying. And then there was this ADD, OCD, ADHD, off the wall Dennis the Menace kid that wanted nothing to do with any of that. That when he had the opportunity to learn how to program COBOL in the basement of his house in 1976, made a stick run across the screen and said, well, that was brilliant. Now what? And went outside to play and learn to ride a motorcycle and get to know people and learn about people and learn how to deal with the social aspect of the world, and want nothing to do with the computer that in 1976 was instant messaging between Minnesota and Russia, and it took 60 seconds to go from here to there and 60 seconds to come back and put a message across the bottom of the screen, and that was an instant message. And the computer that I was playing on was a $250,000 plasma screen touch panel terminal. And I look at that now and go, holy mackerel, the privilege that I had. And when I spoke to my dad, I had tears in my eyes, and because I realized that I had thrown all of that aside. And my father stepped up in the conversation and said, son, do you not remember when you took over a $1 billion company's operations warehouse position from being a sales manager selling wine and liquor, because you were the person that could bring the whole company together in the operations world, because you could talk to the janitor, the drivers, the salespeople, and stop them from wanting to kill each other. And I watched you do this as you walked me around the warehouse, looking to hire me, to hire your own dad to do the consulting computer work. And we spent 6 hours with the two owners that were each worth $1 billion, and the respect they gave you and the respect you got from a janitor when the janitor said hi to you, how are you, and you introduced me to him, was more respect than the janitor gave to the billionaire company owners. And I remember looking at you, and this is what my dad said, going, my son has a gift that I always wished I had. And I lived my whole life not being able to have that gift. And when my dad said that to me, it completed 46 years of me not being good enough. I finally had the realization that my dad viewed me as a success and the most successful in our family. And, brought tears to my eyes. And I never, it was so just a part of who I was. I didn't even remember it until he brought it out. When I shared with him, I didn't think I was good enough. And he shared that. And from that moment forward, my dad was the best man in my wedding. We spent 7 years going to the British Virgin Islands together, sailing, just the two of us. And then we invited people for the last few years. And my dad became my best friend. And when he passed away in his sleep, with a scotch in his hand and a book in his lap and the TV on, and he fell asleep at midnight on a Friday, when I got the phone call, the one thing that left me happy was that the last words I said to him that morning at 9 a.m. were, Dad, thank you. Always. I love you. And I was complete with my dad every time I spoke to him and ended the phone call. And that's the greatest gift my dad gave me, and I gave him back, because he said the only regret that he could see was that he didn't get a chance to tell his dad that he loved him before his dad passed away. And so that's why I've made it my life's mission to transform the planet through communication. And welcome to my room.
Thank you. It's always interesting hearing this kind of a story. You try and piece it all together. Sort of, a story is simultaneously in the past, the present, and also in good stories in the future.
Yep.
you have to do all three of them at the same time. I was on a couple nights ago, and the guy goes, "No, forget the past, live in the present." And I thought, oh boy, what a self-limiting thing to do.
It's very interesting because what that person left out was, as a thinker, if we forget the stuff from the past that depresses, brings us to depression, and we take the lessons from the past that lift us up and provide us with logic and information to lift us into the future, though to forget or allow the things that depress us to get them complete. This is the piece that's missing when people say forget it. It's not about forgetting it. It's getting it complete so that it no longer shows up in our future. This is the piece that people miss. They don't realize that the past keeps reoccurring in their future because they keep throwing it in front of themselves as a filter to live the future in. So it's not about forgetting the past. It's about completing the past so that the filter no longer drives us and we can actually look freely into the future from the present with no holds barred, because we've completed the upsets and the mistakes, or whatever you want to call it, from the past. Does that communicate?
Very, very well. No, you're quite right. Interesting. Well, it's been an interesting evening, I must admit.
Well, you've made Sujata smile, Carl. And as you can see, we've put everybody to bed except three of my angels, Jeanette, Lotus, and Sujata.
Well, yes, good. So I'm a sleeping pill for the world.
So am I.
Yeah. I'll get some ink smeared in my arm and then tattoo it in with a needle so I don't forget it. The sleeping pill of the world. Oh, great. Every time I forget, I'll just look over at my arm. It'll be written there.
I think sometimes these conversations rattle the very bones that exist in people that are not ready or willing to go there.
Oh, absolutely, no, without question, and that's a recurring theme over and over and over again. I meet that kind of resistance on multiple levels. When you deal with a new technology, what you're really doing is saying the world is wrong, and those who are comfortable doing that old thing are wrong. And now there's this new way, and it's always a yin-yang kind of a mix of good and bad, of changes, and people resist it. They resist it for all manner of reasons. They get apprehensive, they get fearful, they get lazy. They just don't want to do the work. They don't want to metabolize what the changes imply. It's one of the. I took many years of philosophy in university. Never got a degree, but certainly took all the courses. And before that, I had 11 years of Catholic school, where my favorite class was actually religion class, because in the school in which I was, it was more of a Jesuitical approach rather than just simply one of memorization of some catechism. We were encouraged to think, and I did it with myself and the teacher for 50 minutes a day for 11 years, and everybody else did their homework, but I got the better part of the deal. So, and it's when you bring something new to somebody, the reaction they have is very, very interesting. I often, I don't know if you ever run across this, Les, but you come up to somebody and you tell that somebody something that would make a change in their life and as well as yours, and they just look at you as if you were a stone. And this took me a long time. This took me a long time to figure it out. But and you think to yourself, oh, if I just explain it to them a little better, if I use some different words, they'll finally understand it. And I came up with a really almost gruesome discovery about people like that. And that was they understood it in the moment you told it to them. They didn't want to face it. They didn't want to make the changes in their life at taking in that, the thing, one of the most important sayings in philosophy is you must follow the truth where it leads you. It's quite all right if you've got a way of doing things and then you encounter something and it's better than what you know. An honest philosopher, the honesty in philosophy is that you must change your life at that point. You may find yourself doing it 20 times a day for the rest of your life. Fine. And you follow the consequences, you follow the implications of it all the way. People don't want to do it. And so finally now, it's I hate to be the cold, crass, cold-hearted fellow, but now I give people one shot. And if I see that they should have understood it, but they don't, or they don't react, I just thank you very much. Have a nice day. Away I go. Because it won't work. It won't work. You could repeat yourself 100 times. It won't work. Might as well not say it.
Well, I have a mission, Carl. And my mission is to look, to discover, to distinguish the path that breaks down their wall.
You're boy.
And there are people in my life like Jeanette, God bless her, and now Sujata, poor Sujata, and I'm sure Lotus will be joining that, and that is that they say, why Les? Why are you so concerned? This is one person. And, every time I hear that, all I can think of is the little kid walking down the beach, throwing the starfish back into the water, into the ocean. And the kid's friend saying, there's millions of them on the beach. What are you going to do? Throw them all in? I mean, you're not going to make any difference. And the little kid smiles and picks one up and throws it into the ocean. And he said, well, guess what? I made a difference for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, listen, Carl, can we invite you back next week?
What time does this place take place?
Well, it actually started 3 hours, 3 minutes, and 40 seconds ago.
Okay. So in Pacific or Eastern time, what does that translate to?
So in Central Standard, it's 9:30. In Eastern, it's 10:30. And in Pacific, it's 7:30. And in Mountain, it's 8:30.
Okay. Well, next week is, I won't be traveling on Friday. If I get a chance, I'll pop back in.
And if it's okay with you, I can put you into the deck on the room. You'll need to follow me, though. Otherwise, I can't put you into that deck.
What does it mean to put me into a deck?
So that you can invite 13 people. So when you build a room, you can invite 13 people to come to stage right off the get-go.
Oh, no, I take a far more serendipitous attitude to life. I just tend to deal with the people that I find there. I prefer it. It's actually a thing that I hold out as part of a value in my life. For example, I never tried to discover the sex of my children.
Oh, well,
and
yeah,
they
that's a
pop out.
surprise. That's like Christmas. Why would you want to do that?
Well, no, that's just it. They pop out, and in one instant, your life goes right or left, depending on what they have or don't have. And these kinds of changes are important in life. They just vector you off in some direction, and it's just fun to do it. It makes the changes that you wouldn't have otherwise made. So I tend to, in rooms like this, I just tend to deal with the people that I meet. Chance meeting on the street in the Agora in Athens, that kind of thing. That to me has the value. But all right, sure, no, of course, I'll. Whoops, you're followed.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy to do it. So yes, next week, 8:30 Mountain Time. I'm actually in Mexico at the moment, but they have strange daylight saving down here.
Yeah, doesn't it flip next weekend?
No, it flips on Sunday, April the 3rd, and then it's good for a while, and then it screws up all my meetings around the world. It's really garbage, but anyway.
So that is next weekend, by the way.
No, I know that it's coming in 9 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. He just said it's not happening. It's happening April 3rd. I went, wait a minute. It is April 3rd and the following weekend.
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
So yeah, but all right. I'll if I get a chance, I'll pop back in next Friday. I will remember.
I love it. I appreciate it, and I thank you for this lively discussion.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. Kendrick's an interesting fellow, actually, in a sense, or you. You've got things that you both want to say. I would encourage Kendrick to make more of a public issue. He actually, Alzheimer's is not a pleasant way to go. It's a degenerative issue. It gets worse every day. And if there's a combination of things that can just slow down the progression, let alone cure it, even that would be very valuable. And people would have a better life as a result.
Yeah, the question is, would the Gestapo agents at the pharmaceutical companies allow it to happen?
Well, they will do their damnedest to stop it. And if you want an example of that, look at the horrible. By the way, I'm a Canadian citizen, and I don't live in Canada. I haven't lived there for 20 years.
I'm a British citizen.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Born and bred.
Yeah. We are both subjects of the crown. And it's the horrible mismanagement of the COVID situation.
Oh my God! Yeah,
in my own country, it's just awful.
Yeah, we don't even want to go there. That's the
every pathological, sociopathic politician in the world minced and pranced about. It was absolutely astounding how bad it was.
And they all have 8 or 9 figures in the bank account to represent it.
Yeah, there are a lot of campaign contributions that don't get put into a campaign.
Yeah. And I live in one of the 8 worst states in the United States for that scenario.
May I ask which one that is?
Minnesota.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We're surrounded by North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. And the entire time during COVID, it was a mass exodus on Friday night and Saturday night to go to the border because we were locked down and every state around us wasn't.
Oh, so they went there to hooch up and then drive back across?
Well, and not even to hooch up, to just go and eat in a restaurant, just to go and live like a human being.
forgot Manitoba and Saskatchewan.
Yeah, well, they were in Canada. Canada was even more screwed up. No offense.
None taken. It's. I'm glad I left. I'm actually thinking of turning in my citizenship one day. That country is mass formation psychosis. It's awful. It's not the place it used to be.
Well, I think, I mean, I'm not sure what your allegiance to faith is, but quote unquote, but if I hadn't believed in the devil, I believe in him now, because he seemed to have whispered into a lot of government officials and of powerful people in charge of countries, and waggled the mighty dollar and the mighty money and power and control to the point of Hitlerism around the world.
You're quite right on that. You and I are absolutely in sync. One of the worst example of which is that preening, mincing narcissist would-be tyrant that, my daughter had him in drama class 20 years ago in Vancouver. He's a nice, seemingly a nice guy. Then 14 years later, he becomes prime minister and starts a parade of nonsensical drivel. And every year it gets worse.
Right, but he gets, here's the thing, and this is why at some level I feel sorry for these people, because they have somebody pouring money and whispering into their ear that they can have more power, more control, and more money if they do this, this, and this. And it's literally, you can see it. You can see it in every single. I mean, my greatest example, and it completely baffles the people that are being swallowed up by big pharma, is really, let's take a look at the country of Sweden. Sweden never locked down the entire time, and yet they have a healthcare system that is owned by the government. So if anybody in the world would have wanted to get on the bandwagon of saving money and saving lives, it would be the one country who is paying for the healthcare of their constituents 100%. And they would have been the first one. They would have been leading the charge. Instead, they were leading the charge to run away. And nobody talked about it, and nobody looked at it, and nobody said, what is the logic behind that? Maybe it's because there's some method to the madness in which people said that Sweden was living. And to this day, all of the statistics match the statistics of the rest of the world. So
no, I know.
It's absolute insanity. And yet the government officials there don't have 7 figures in their bank accounts, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, by the way, in my home country of Canada, do you know that Trudeau was arresting ministers in their churches?
Oh my gosh, he put armed guards around the one up in Thunder Bay somewhere. He put he put a fence around it with armed guards.
Beyond horrible. I mean, it's atrocious. Anyway, I'm out. I've lived outside for 20 years, and I live in several countries, and I enjoy doing it, and just, it's my way of, I don't have to concern myself with it.
Yeah.
But it's a terrible place. There's actually I came down from Canada down to Mexico in very, very early January. And to get on the plane, you had to be double vaccinated, which I am. You had to have a test to get into the airport. Everybody in the entire room, staff, everybody else was double vaxxed and a negative test the day before. So I buy a bottle of water. I'm standing off to a corner, about 15 feet away from a guy, take off my mask to drink the water, like one ear down. And the guy from across the room yells at me, "Mask on." Well, what? Nobody in the room has it. What the hell are you talking about? But that was his little, what we've encouraged with this is this incredible group of mini tyrants to emerge.
Yes.
That they found meaning in their life because they now had the power to tell somebody else to do something, no matter how ridiculous. It's a terrible, terrible thing to happen to the country. Canadians used to be pretty tolerant. They're not tolerant at all now. There's something wrong in that country. Individually, they may still be nice, but here was this guy going, he had a smile, mask on. Like it was his duty to tell me not to drink water. Ridiculous. Idiotic.
Yes, and the interesting...
No chance of getting it.
And the funny thing about it is, nowhere did they start to tell people to drink water, eat healthy at the same level as you're supposed to wear a mask. If they had done that, we would have had less cases. But instead, it was all about putting the mask on. And it wasn't even about the education of the mask, because people would pull the mask down, touch their nose and their mouth, and sneeze or cough, then grab their mask and put it back on. Now the mask is absolutely useless. And it was useless to start with. So, there was no education that came with all of this other than control. And to
That's
me,
it.
And to me, that was the epitome of why it's the biggest lie that's ever been told around the world, because at no time did they provide education to back up what they were doing.
Well, the point is they couldn't, because what they were doing was false. You don't want people to be educated in just how false it is. I noticed on your profile, Les, that you've got a Bible study, ordained minister, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Can I deal in the startup world?
Yeah.
So let me give you a story that I actually came up with these statistics. And when I get to the end of the story, it might cause you to laugh or not, but let me give it to you anyway, just because of the nature of what I'm going to say to you and because of your background. You try and discover how many people are really startup people, and it's a very small number. So wisdom is where you find it. That's a saying of mine. About 45, almost 50 years ago, I was watching a Woody Allen film, and one line in that film jumped off the screen at me, and I never forgot it. He was walking with, I think, Diane Keaton, somebody, and he said, 80% of life is just showing up.
Amen.
And there's a tremendous thing. So I started to think about that, and I applied Wilfredo Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule. I said, well, how does that work for startups? All right. So if there's an opportunity in that room over there behind that door, 80% of all the people in the world will find a way to give themselves a reason so they don't even go and walk through that door. Of the 20% that walk through the door, about 20% of them will see the opportunity that's in the room. You're down to 4% of people. Of the 20% that see the opportunity, about 20% of them, or less sometimes, will find a solution to solve or to take advantage of that opportunity. You're down to 0.8 of 1%. And of that 20%, about 20% of it will actually have the, I shouldn't use my usual coarse expression, but will have the sufficient genitalia to actually get off their bum and do something with it. When you multiply it down, it's actually 0.15. And you divide it into 100, you come up with 667. Take the entrepreneur, the startup guy, out of the equation, and what are you left with? 666, the mark of the beast. It turns out, Les, that there isn't any fiery place down below. No, the demons are all around us. This is the story for startup guys. And you go, what do you mean the demons are all around? Well, how often do you hear this? What right do you think you have to do this? What makes you believe you can do this? Shouldn't you be worried about your pension? No. The demons are all around you if you're a startup guy. And the people that are startup guys, the ones that are predisposed to being that, and it really is, it's about 1 in 1,000. I made those numbers fit that just because it's a well-known symbol. And it just happens to multiply out like that. But the point is that most of the problem you face as a startup guy is trying to do something, trying to make a difference, trying to do anything at all that changes or interferes with the inertia. The world really is a massive mechanism for trying to hold you back. So I made up that thing about the world being filled with demons. Just because, when you've been doing startups long enough, and you're so frustrated with just the endless, the silly delays, it's at least the kind of a story that causes some people to get a chuckle. Well, there you go. That's my story.
Well, you got a chuckle out of me because I definitely, I can highly see the symbolism and the opportunity of that.
Yeah. I know. It's like that. Well, it's getting up to midnight, and as usual, to use another kind of reference, I wake up early, and 7 days a week I worship at the altar of Mammon. It is time for me to depart and get my all too few hours of shut-eye, and then dedicate my life to the accumulation of more meaningless acorns.
Well, I appreciate your time in this room, and you have definitely outdid yourself. And thanks for leveling up the conversation across the board. This will be a night to be long remembered by all who participated.
I wish you wouldn't say things like that. Let's just say it was fun and leave it at that. And so collectively, ladies, Sujata, Jeanette, Mrinalini, pleasure meeting all of you, and until we meet again.
Thank you, Carl, for stepping by. I always like to hear when you talk. We have a room on Wednesday too.
You should not write the things that you wrote to me. I get embarrassed.
Well, as Coach Les will tell you, or Janet will tell you, or those who know me will tell you that I always speak what's true and what I believe in, and I don't feel. I feel that there's a need for people to be appreciated, and if that, it's sad that people get embarrassed, but that's how it is.
Yes, no, whenever I'm talking, I always appreciate the sound of my own voice. It's usually enough. Sujata, have a good evening. Cheers, everyone.
Take care, Carl. And he's gone. Poof, he's gone. And he comes in and he goes out. Jeanette, are you still there? Or are you sleeping? Did you fall asleep to us? Busted. Oh, I love her. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Lotus, are you still there?
Yeah, she's there. She's
Coach.
Well, you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to everybody that popped in. Ram, Sue, Dega, thank you so much for being in the listening lounge, coming in. I highly, highly recommend you listen to the replay of this room. This room is definitely going to go down in the, I would say this will go down in the history of great rooms at 3.5 hours. And especially probably the last hour and a half was Definitely a beautiful wink of a room. I think even Conscience might like listening to this replay. Right.
Coach, that was a nice plug in there.
That was a nice plug where?
When you said wink.
Oh, of course. I keep doing the slow move. You know, if when you watch when you watch the replays on Facebook or on LinkedIn, you'll see the magic of the books passing slowly through the vision of the room. All right. Well, I better go get my 5 hours of sleep before I have to open the room. And do you like lamb? Do you eat lamb, Sujata?
Yes.
Yes.
So I am picking up a whole lamb turned into ground beef tomorrow
Wow.
morning. Having ground lamb makes ground beef, ground bison. It pales. It makes the best spaghetti on the planet.
All forbidden
Wow, Coach.
foods.
What was that?
I said, wow, that sounds good.
It I did. If you had told me even a year ago that I would say that about eating ground lamb versus ground beef, I would have told you, nothing's going to replace my beef. And lamb has definitely done that, and it's one of my clients. It's how he pays me. Part of his payment is 2 lambs a year, and then he pays me monthly as well. And my wife has fallen in love with it, and so have I. And it's much healthier, by the way. Very, 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 very healthy. Well, I appreciate each and every one of you. I thank you. And I'm going to do my Mission Impossible and do a countdown, close the room. And I believe that I'll see you sometime tomorrow, at least from my world. And Lotus, it was fun hanging out with you again. And I look forward to when you make it to the US and get out of India.
Likewise, Coach, likewise.
We just need to, here's the trick. I think here's the trick. Whatever it is that you would like to do for work, find the people here on Clubhouse that would love to support that and continue to feed that gas tank, and you'll find yourself in the US.
Sounds like a plan.
The only thing is you'll have to make sure you stay away from the center of the grocery store, because the center of the grocery store is where all the poison is.
Yeah, I got that.
So, all right. Well, thank you again. Thank you, everybody. And with that, Suraj is back. Suraj, you're amazing. He always pops in and out of the room, Sujata. He's just such a great guy. Come on up and say hello, Suraj. Yep, there he is.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach, and Sujata and Janet and I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Mrinalini.
Merlani, okay, yeah. I think you're from India, right? And Sujata is also.
Yes.
Oh, where are you from?
Mumbai.
Oh, I have been to Mumbai and Kulava. I stay almost 2.5 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was working for a Samsung that time I was. Yeah, and I believe you all are believer, right? Coach?
Yes, I am. And they, Sujata and Lotus believe just a little, they just have a little difference. That's all.
Okay, that's fine, no problem. Yeah.
I know.
But I just saw this room, and I don't know what is the discussion is going on. So I just because most of the group and you lead, I learned something to other things, so I just joined. That is all.
Well, Suraj, this is a room that you want to, when you have time, you want to listen to the replay.
Sure.
This will make the next journey in your car absolutely phenomenal. This room is a keeper.
Okay.
And I always hate to do this, especially when somebody just comes in the room, especially somebody that I like you, Suraj. I hate to do this, but it's 1 o'clock here, and I have a commitment to do a couple more things before I can go to bed.
Okay.
And
sure, yeah. So Marlene and Sujata, how can I contact you? Actually, because you are in India, so I wanted to contact you if it's okay.
I am the most, before Mrinalini says anything, I am the most approachable person. My WhatsApp number is there in my bio. You can back channel me your number. You can get onto WhatsApp with me. Everything is there in my book, in my bio, everywhere. So feel free to reach out. Mrinalini can now speak whatever she wants.
I am exact opposite to my mom, so we can be connected here on Clubhouse, and yeah, that's the way you can connect with me. Thank you.
Sure.
Suraj, are you? I don't even remember. How old are you again, Suraj?
I'm 33.
Married, kids?
Yes.
How many?
Actually, my main concern is connecting. I'm trying to expand my business. Actually, we are manufacturer of oxygen generator, and India, no one is manufacturing actually. So we just want to reach out to, basically, we are reaching out to the hospital where supply is difficult to get the oxygen cylinder. So that is only my goal is to reach out and
Have you met Manohar and Virender yet?
Not yet.
Okay. You should look into my bio and find Manohar and find Virender and
Sure.
Take a look at what they do, and if you want an introduction, I'll introduce you to them. They're both in India as well.
Okay, sure, I'll do that.
And I think are they semi-retired, Sujata, or?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because Virender seems to always be on Clubhouse, so I don't know when he works.
Okay.
So, but anyway, they're both entrepreneurs that do very well in India.
Okay, sure. So it's kind of organizations or what exactly is it? Like marketing company? They do marketing or say, what is it exactly?
I'm sorry, I can't remember, Suraj. I'm sorry. I just know they both give me a hard time.
Sure, no problem. All right then. I think you guys should continue.
Yeah, I'm gonna bow out and let you guys go run around the halls because it's the beginning of the day for you and the end of the day for me.
Yeah. Right.
I'll see you in the hallways, Suraj. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, brother.
It's always good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
And this room will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now to close, here we go. We are now closing up shop.
Coaching with Les has doubled my practice.
If you have any struggles in your business or your personal life, Les is your guy.
He's logical, he's empathetic, he has passion for helping people, and his ideas are genuinely thoughtful.
So if you're looking for a business coach with integrity, choose Les Hill.